Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass live and in living color here with you tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard. And yes, my friends, tonight, you've been waiting for it. You've been waiting all week for it. I know it. It is tonight. It is here. It is now. It is Grande's Graveyard Edition, discussing the state of horror movies in the year 2026. Yes, we're here talking about this year in horror, the future of horror, the genre right here and now. And I'm very happy to have you all in the house because this is something that I think needed to be done. And initially, I was going to be on here doing all things neo horror, which will round out the month of July. I'll be talking about some neo horror movies. The Craft is one of them, The Pool, and amongst others. But the VHS has kind of got back ordered, and I said, you know what? I'm going to have to do a filler show. And this is a show that I've been wanting to do all year. And I figured we're about halfway through 2026. We've seen certain horror movies come, certain horror movies go, certain horror movies make a bunch of noise, certain horror movies make zero noise. But we're going to talk about sort of what I think about the state of the genre right now, the future of said genre. And this is going to be kind of an open forum. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think about the state of horror movies as of right now in the year 2026? I want to hear from you, the graveyard, here tonight. So please don't be shy, because Black Glove Reviews 1979 was here all the way before we went live. Only have a great stream, boss. Thank you so much, Black Glove Reviews. Check out Black Glove Reviews. He just did 5 Criterion recommendations in honor of the Barnes & Noble's 50% off sale. So if you want to go check out Black Glove Reviews channel, please go do so. It's Thursday, which means it's time to take names and kick candy ass. Oh, yes, Arthur knows what it is. Arthur knows what's good. Arthur's been going through the Twilight Zone season 1. He's been kind of running through those, so that's really cool, because last week we talked about the worst of the zone. We got Miss C in the house. Ciao, Grande and Graveyard and friends. Welcome, Miss C. We've got Spooky Girly Ghoul. She's come back. Hey, someone from last week. It's nice to have a new graveyardie in the house. Welcome, Spooky Girly Ghoul. Hope all is well with you. We got people saying hi to one another. We got AJ Zetro 75. Where's my guy? I'm right here. Are you happy I got a haircut, AJ? I'm sure. I know someone got very offended of the Twilight Zone episode I did. They commented, I don't want to look at you the entire stream. And I was like, I'll just have to get a haircut then. So maybe this week we can win that poor bastard over. But actually, I do hope he can go wipe his ass with a cactus. Let's be perfectly honest. People saying hi to one another. We got Bradley in the house. Trenchy, the Soul Trenchcoat. What's going on, Bradley? Hope all's well with you. We got the great Nate 465. Hey, Grande. Hello, everyone. Welcome, the great Nate Murphy. Always happy to have you in the house. We got James Abernathy all the way from the UK. He's on a holiday, just like Mr. Bean. I hope you're not getting in any shenanigans like Mr. Bean. Although I would pay admission to see James Abernathy's Holiday, the third Mr. Bean movie that we never got. I want that movie, but starring James Abernathy. That would be awesome. Badass shirt. Ito was a legend. Hell yeah. We got to rep the Tomia. We got to witch the bewitching girl here. I was like, you know what? I don't know what to wear for tonight, because I don't really have any shirts of the movies I'm going to be talking about or anything, or even anything to hold up in that reign. But I do have some things to hold up, so we'll get there. Appropriate stream topic with all the hype and horror right now. Yeah, this is one that had to happen. It's an organic, impromptu, something I thought about, something I sort of was planning, but something that it literally took VHSs to be back ordered for me to sit down here tonight and say, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. That's what needs to be discussed, and that's what we're going to do here. We got Anthony Chabot, I8W. How you doing, buddy? By the way, I'm almost up to 2024 in the memoirs and just applied for New York's NYCC. Hey, man, congratulations to you. I hope you get accepted. Grande State of the Union Address Horror Edition only. Triple H is in the house. Welcome, Triple H. I'm sure Triple H has got a mug with my John Hancock and my face on it. So, Triple H, welcome to the graveyard, my friend. We got Mearns's Movie Mansion 9151. What's up, Graveyard family? Mearns, what's going on, brother? Happy to have you in the house. Mearnsy's on vacation too. This seems to be a big, important weekend of, or I guess week long of vacations for people. So that's really cool to see. Ciao, Grani. For me, the state is dead. Flatline buried, prequel or sequel or remake of sagas Milk Till Dry, Obsession, Weapons, Evil Dead Burn, and so on, all let it down. Hi to the whole chat. Wow. Matteo Appendino, I hit you with the lefts. Matteo Appendino just hit you with the right haymaker in the jaw. Well, we'll talk about everything. I'm curious to hear from all of you guys. But yeah, listen, even as far as a year or so ago, I would be right there with you. But I have a lot more optimism moving forward. I really do. And we'll talk about it tonight. We will. Night of the Living Well. Well. Look who it is. Well, excuse me, ma'am. It's Will Phelps. Night of the Living Well. Will Phelps, excuse me, ma'am. I think I ordered a Bante, not a Grande. Will Phelps is here in the graveyard. Welcome, Will. Hope all is well with you. Hey, Grande and friends. Mr. Dan in Horror 4230. Welcome, Mr. Dan. Hope all is well with you. He cut the beautiful chestnut locks. I've done it. I know it's terrible. It's just an awful thing, but it was out of control. It was just getting crazy. I haven't seen much 2026 horror movies, but so far I'm not impressed. Fair enough. Okay. Wait, what now? I got to see this Twilight Zone stream. Jesus. So, okay, what really happened was the guy was upset of the thumbnail I used. I used the thumbnail of Rod Serling and said top 10 worst Twilight Zone episodes. And the guy got very upset that I was doing a live stream. And he made sure he let me know of it. So I told him to have a very nice day in a most polite of ways. Doing my 5th rinse tonight, my new hair growth shampoo. Yes, that's right. Merns is like Stacy Keach in body bags. He's got this brand new hair product that's making his hair grow like the peanut butter solution. So I don't know about it, Merns, but I hope you can let me know your secret, because I think we need some extra chestnuts in here. We got, this is a first time name, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the whole thing. Horror's more bark than bite right now. Yo, welcome a new timer to the graveyard here. Welcome, my friend. Hope all is well with you. I've only seen 2 2026 horror movies this year: Scream 7, Puke, Ready or Not 2, Smile. Okay, we got a good and a bad in there. Good and a bad. We got some more people in the house. We got Ryan Hanley in the house. He was messaging me before we went live here tonight. So welcome, Hanley. Hope all is well with you. Haven't seen a single film from this year, so I can't comment. Well, no worries. Hopefully Merzi gets some gray hair like Grande. Well, let's hope so. What the hell? He was basically what happened. Yeah, he said that I missed or something, like I falsified the stream, like I was looking for bait. I was like, buddy, you gotta go somewhere. Captain Skittles is in the house. Captain Skittles. Oh, Captain, my Captain. How dare you talk about the Twilight Zone and show the host in your thumbnail so people know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. I'm a horrible person. I'm just a horrible person. I don't know. The Weak and the Wounded, homage to one of my faves. Absolutely. So everybody, crack open a cold one with me. I've got the world's greatest drink in the world. We're going to do the do here tonight. Crack open a cold one. Woo, baby. Cheers to my whole graveyardians. If you want to know, or if you want to tell me what you're drinking in the chat, please do. But okay, I figure this is going to be a different graveyard show than any other. I review this movie, I talk about that movie, and that's kind of how we go about it. But this is much more of an open discussion here tonight, where I kind of want to talk about the genre, obviously in the year 2026, and what I thought of some of the movies. Now, they're not going to be full-on overblown in-depth reviews, Grande's Graveyard style, but I do want to touch on a little bit of it and a little bit, I guess, moving into this year. And I guess the best place to start is to wind the clocks back. Let's start at the beginning of the decade. Horror movies, let's be honest, have not been the greatest over the past 10 or so years. We can even start at the decade, right? 2020, if you want to round out that number, right? 2020, the year of the pandemic, a lot of movies going straight to streaming services and things like that. And that was unfortunate, but amongst that time period, 2020 all the way through now, we have had a couple of horror movies that I thought blew me away, and I actually pulled some of them out here. Now, the one I saw, this was right before the pandemic hit, I remember, was The Lodge. I thought this was a great horror movie. You can watch this on Hulu now. I think it's just really, really well done, masterfully directed by Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz. I thought it was just super unsettling. The lead performances, I mean, just a really good new school horror movie that gave me hope for the genre moving forward. And then it was a movie like this. It was a movie like Malignant, one of the first movies I remember going back to the theaters to see when the pandemic protocols and things like that were sort of finally being limited. The restraints were finally being let back. And I remember going to the movies with a bunch of people being so excited to go see a James Wan movie. And what we saw was Malignant. I love that. Stop motion. Probably one of, if not my favorite of this entire decade. I thought this was a brilliant movie. And Aisling Franciosi's performance was just unbelievable in it. Oscar worthy to me. That's how good it was. And the use of color and the psychology in the film and the use of stop motion animation, but to tell your psychedelic horror story with your lead and the problems that she faces with her own creativity, I thought was great. Smile 2, a fun popcorn movie that I had a blast with in the movies. I thought, what a fun time. Naomi Scott owns and champions this movie. I thought she was tremendous. A movie like Heretic with Hugh Grant, just an amazing villain that he portrays. The discussions about religion and discussions about absolute religion. What is the one absolute religion, and evil and good, and faith versus no faith. And I don't know, I thought Heretic was great. And then, of course, movie like Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, a remake of the original 1922 Nosferatu. My goodness, like I thought this was a spectacle when I saw this in the movie theater. I was absolutely blown away. And I remember my friend Mark, we walked out of the theater, we were like in total agreement of how perfect it was, how great of a modern day horror movie that it was. And the reason I bring these things up, and the reason that I wanted to start off with showing ones that I was super positive about in this past decade is because I have a stigma to me. A lot of people think I'm a negative Nancy. A lot of people, I put a lot of things down. I put a lot of popular things down. I don't like current movies. These are a lot of things that have been thrown my way. And it's a totally fair criticism because for every one of those, there may be 2 or 3 others that were praised, that were beloved, that I didn't like. And perfect example for you. Let's wind the clock forward a little bit to 2025, last year in horror. I thought 2025 in horror was as miserable as it gets. I think it's the worst year of the entire 2020 so far. And yet it seemed to be such a positive year for most others, right? You had a movie like Sinners that was a spectacle that made over $400 million, that was at the Academy Awards with live musical performances, winning Academy Awards. You had a movie like Weapons that made a ton of money, that spread a ton of word of mouth, and it got over organically and created a horror villain that is being talked about to this day and netted her an Academy Award at that year's Oscars. I mean, that is absolutely incredible that you had 2 movies that A, made that much money, and B, made that much noise, and C, won little gold statues. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. Now, I didn't like either one of those movies, but the fact remains that these were original movies that garnered a lot of buzz, and a lot of people went to go see them, and it kind of got the genre, I think, booming in a way again. Then now I look at 2026, and I'll talk about a few films here tonight that I want to spotlight in some ways and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the box office versus the budgets, things like that. And I feel like it all started in January of 2026. It started with a little movie directed by our own Sam Raimi. We all love Sam Raimi. It came out in January called Send Help. And man, when I heard this was coming out and I heard about the direct Sam Raimi, Rachel McAdams, these are 2 really talented people. How in the hell are we going to make a January released horror movie with Sam Raimi and Rachel McAdams involved? I was like, this is either going to be a train wreck or it might be a nice surprise. And it turned out to be quite a good surprise. I had a blast. Me and Terrence, we saw Send Help in the theater together, and we had a ball at the movies. Like that to me is what a fun popcorn modern day horror movie should be. Just a lot of fun. And to me, to get a guy from the old school like Sam, a guy that did the Evil Dead movies and Spider-Man movies and Dark Man and A Simple Favor, so many great not A Simple Favor, A Simple Plan, A Simple Plan, I'll get it right here, folks. A Simple Plan, or A Simple Favor, whatever the fuck you want to say at that point. I just botched the whole thing. But, without obviously, messing up Sam Raimi's filmography, I thought it was a really good addition to his filmography. I didn't see it as something like an embarrassment or anything like that. I saw it as something that was super, like, this is good popcorn horror. Holy shit, like, we've got something going here. And then we move on to a movie that came out also around that time, in Iron Lung. Now, Iron Lung was directed by a YouTuber. Markiplier directed the Iron Lung on a budget of $3 million, and it grossed over $50 million worldwide. Now, I didn't see Iron Lung, so I can't really throw my 2 cents of, was it good, was it bad, was it ugly? I don't know. I haven't seen the picture, so I won't, throw any stones or anything like that. But for me, for someone like me who loves YouTube, who literally does a YouTube show every week, to see somebody get so much success and notoriety from a little small budget movie that could and gross over $50 million in the movie theater, that's freaking awesome. Like, that is really inspiring to somebody like me. I think that's so cool that he got the opportunity to do that. And we'll get into an obsession and backrooms in just a second here, but you also look at the mainstream. Look at the mainstream, the sequels, right? Heather mentioned it before, Ready or Not 2 and a Scream 7, right? Let's throw the monkey wrench at movies that are already established, that already made money in yesteryear, and let's make sequels to them in order to garner the people that we know are going to buy tickets, right? And you had a kind of a situation of 2 different scenarios, right? Scream 7 made a ton of money, $45 million budget, grossed over $210 million worldwide, made a ton of money, but got a lot of bad reviews. I don't know too many people that liked Scream 7. I don't know too many people that walked out of Scream 7 and went, wow, that was really worth the wait. That was really worth all of this time. That was really one of the best sequels. It was so necessary. Didn't really hear much of that. Got very negative reviews. However, brought in the Benjamins. And then you look at a movie like Ready or Not 2, I heard mostly positive things, and it sort of bombed at the box office. Didn't perform as well as the first one, didn't perform as well as they thought, and unfortunately didn't do too well. Now, these things happen as well. This resting on your laurels, making a sequel, trying to do something like that. And then you get to Undertone, which to me is the best of any of the movies we'll talk about, even if it's briefly here tonight. And I do want to do an episode giving a full in-depth review of Undertone. But Undertone, I went to the theater. I could tell a brief anecdote. I got invited by, I don't know if it was Bloody Disgusting or if it was Room Work. One of those magazines sent me an email and said, hey, would you want to see it early? And I was like, absolutely. And I thought there would be a requirement, like you got to review it and be positive, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing. Just a free ticket on a cold, rainy Monday night. And I went to the theater to see Undertone. And I was blown away by it. I thought it was so effective. I thought the usage of horror in it, the usage of sound, the usage of guilt for our lead character, the guilt that she feels for not praying for her mother, and the guilt that she feels as the picture goes on, a woman that doesn't feel fit to be a mother, a woman that is slowly but surely being eaten alive by her guilt and by these ghosts, if you will. And I thought that was such an effective movie. That was made on a budget of $500,000, $500K, and grossed $20 million in the United States, $9 million in its opening weekend. That is such an inspiration, right? Here's a guy that had next to nothing to make it, all in one location, all in one house, all in basically just one actress carrying the picture. And he somehow made something that I felt was organically scary and something that was super effective. And to the point where when it ended, when I walked out, when I got to my car, I was glowing. I was like, that's why I love this. It's nice and refreshing to remind yourself every now and again. It doesn't happen much, but when it happens, it's special. That why you love this thing. And that was a night for me where I realized and I remembered it. I was like, that's it. That's why I go to the cinema. That's where I want to see. That's where I want to be impressed. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like Undertone. A lot of people thought it was slow, too boring, too slow. You know, I've heard everybody critique that movie, say it was one of the worst things they've seen. That's totally fine if you feel that way, because I'm always on the other side of the coin with certain movies too. Case in point, Obsession, which has taken over the horror community, the YouTube community. Each and every single buddy has truly become obsessed with Obsession. And no, I'm not trying to be punny. I'm just being honest. And yeah, Obsession, it struck a nerve in the community. And there's no secret that I didn't like it. I uploaded my 3-minute rant on it, and I sang Olivia Dean, and I buried the movie, and I didn't like it, and so on and so forth. That's totally fine too. That I didn't like it. And it doesn't matter whether I liked it or not. To me, what matters is an up-and-comer, a guy in Curry Barker, who, again, is making the rounds, Indy Neveretti, or as I call her, Indy Never Yitties, because that's really, that's just the name now. It's stuck in my head. You know, despite what I think, despite the teasing and the tomatoes and the, you know, harsh words I threw its way and the rant, it is a rant. You can't deny what he did and how impactful and powerful that is, right? I mean, you have a guy with a $750,000 budget. He struck a nerve in this genre that we haven't seen in quite some time. You want to throw other movies that did it? Yeah, Get Out. Yeah, maybe a Hereditary. Yeah, maybe a movie here or a movie there. But none of them have had the financial box office success that Obsession has had. And it's really incredible to see this little movie that had long legs, that ran its way all the way to 400 plus million, and yet it's still going. Now, I don't know if it's going to go much further. Maybe it will. At this pace, maybe it will get to $500 million. I don't know. But what I do know is that you struck a nerve, and a lot of people caught notice of it. A lot of people post about it. It got a lot of discussions going. Who's the real villain? And things like that. And people, the memes of Indy Naravietis and all these things, like it's truly struck a nerve. And when you do that, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, right? There's plenty of people over the history of horror, movies that changed it, movies that struck a nerve. There's plenty of people that don't like Scream. There's plenty of people that don't like the Blair Witch Project. There's plenty of people that don't like Saw. The fact of the matter is, enough people did. It earned enough money in order to be successful and sustainable. And that's amazing. And I do appreciate Obsession for that, despite the fact that I didn't like the movie at all. In fact, I hated the movie. But that's neither here nor there. And the last one before I'll get to comments, because I'm sorry, I've been going on. I'll get to comments, I promise. After this movie, I'll get to comments. Backrooms. Backrooms comes out the same weekend as a Star Wars film, and it kicked its fucking ass. This is a movie that was created by this 20-year-old guy named Kane Parsons, who had obviously, explored some of the lore in some YouTube shorts and things like that, as did Curry. Curry started in the YouTube world as well. These YouTube shorts, this Backrooms video game that you could play on your PC. He signs a deal for $10 million with A24 and makes a movie that has grossed, as of today, over $350 million worldwide. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. That's an incredible return. That's the most successful A24 film that's ever been released, no matter what happens. It could literally, you could not buy a ticket for it for the rest of its run, and it is still the most successful A24 movie that they've ever released. And I thought, considering a movie that was directed by a 20-year-old, it was so mature. It tells the story of this man who works a dead-end job at a furniture store, who finds this back rooms dimension of all of these weird rooms and furniture standings and things like that. But it was so deep in and of the fact that what it's really doing is looking at his inner psychosis, the fear of the monster within himself. There's a great dinner scene in Backrooms where he and his psychiatrist and all these kind of people in the back rooms, these imitations, are sitting at the dinner table, and she tells him, listen, your main problem is you blame everyone, you never want to blame yourself. And I thought that particular moment, that particular scene, felt so mature and so much unlike what the genre has been giving me for the past 6 to plus 10 years. And that just inspired me. I was like, this is really, really cool. So right now, all these movies I mentioned of yesteryear that I liked, dislike, whatever, I think we're in a good standing. And I'm getting into more of that, but I want to get to your comments because the chat's been rather booming here. Let's see what you all have to say. Let's go from the top. Quite a few comments. Let's go here. We got a cheers. Absolutely. He's like Rod Serling's corpse to be on the couch with you. Yeah, I guess so. I should have dug him up. The chestnut locks are styling, woo, and profiling. I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Love Malignant. What a fresh horror movie. I did too. I thought Malignant was great. And we're going to talk a lot about James Wan tonight because I have a point with James Wan that I'd really like to discuss. And it's almost a beware for the up-and-comers that are being successful right now. Malignant was a breath of fresh air. I'm completely with that. I thought Malignant was so fun. Let's take a giallo and a Frank Henenlotter movie and have them have a baby in the modern era. And what you get is Malignant, this really fun, over-the-top, giallo / body horror film that just I thought was incredible. I had such a good time, and I know that a lot of people, they threw their stones at Malignant because of what it wasn't. You weren't The Conjuring, you weren't Insidious, you weren't Dead Silent, you weren't any of these movies that James Wan has done before. You weren't what got James Wan to the dance. No, he tried something different. And I think a lot of people stiff-armed it away because of that, because of what they wanted it to be wasn't what it was. And that happens sometimes. I got to see Malignant. I highly recommend. Edgar's about to deliver a bomb on Christmas again. Man, I'm so excited for Werewolf. I'm very excited for that. Like, that's going to be... I'm excited. I'll see that in a Dolby theater. Like, that's going to be a big night. Just watched Nosferatu recently. Movie was decent. The ending fell flat to me, though. That's understandable. And I know a lot of people said Nosferatu put them to sleep. They had a lot of stones thrown that way for stuff like that. Werewolf looks amazing. Cannot wait. Sinners, all caps. Decent. Descent into madness. Hello, everybody in Grande. Welcome, Chris. Hope all is well with you. I like Eggers, McCarthy, and Perkins, but Peel, Astor, Flanagan doesn't do it for me. I'm also tired of CGI. How long has it been since watching a movie you ask yourself, how did they do that? No, you're right. The magic of cinema has been very much so diminished. And I'll throw a stone at another modern day movie that I felt did that. Look at the new Final Destination that came out last year. It made a ton of money. Was a movie that so many anticipated, that so many put over, that so many said was the best Final Destination movie they saw. That's fine if you feel that way. I completely disagree. I think it's the worst. But that movie, it felt like it was made on someone's computer. They didn't feel like the creativity was there. It didn't feel like the magic of movies was there. Instead, it felt like a lot of digitally, added sequences and death scenes and things like that. And like, some people had fun with it. That's cool if they did. But like, to me, you take away the creativity and what made Final Destination work. Final Destination worked because of the psychology, the whole ideology of when it's your time, is it your time, right? Can you cheat death? The whole story with Ali Larder and Devin Sawa, where she says, my dad was shot down in a 7-Eleven store. Like, was it really his time? Do you really think death had a plan for him? And these arguments and debates, that to me is what makes Final Destination great, right? It's the psychology. Whereas with now, it just seems like, okay, how many death scenes can we get? How can we get this rolling in death scene perspective? You're not negative, buddy. Just a little artsy fartsy, but I still love you, bro. Well, I love you too. Hey, Grande, would you say Obsession was the worst film you've seen this year? Yeah, easily. I hated Obsession. I did not like it. I thought it sucked, and I will never rewatch it. So Juno, welcome though. Iron Lung was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I've not seen Iron Lung, so I can't say. But what I can say is, again, for a $3 million budget, for a guy that makes YouTube videos for a living, that is so freaking cool. His movie did so well. Like, I know the Stuckman movie, Chris Stuckman made a movie for about 2.5, 2.2, somewhere around that, and it didn't do well at all. And people buried the movie. And like, to somebody like him, I know he's arguably the biggest as far as subscribers and viewership and making a living off making or reviewing movies. To see him finally make a movie, that's awesome. I have nothing against Chris Stuckman. I think, it's unfortunate that his movie didn't do too well, and I haven't seen his movie. I would be totally honest with you if I saw it and I didn't like it, though. That's awesome about their success, though. It is. That to me, that's the point, really, that I want to make here. Whether I liked Ryan Coogler's Sinners, whether I liked Curry Barker's Obsession, whether I liked, what's that idiot that did the weapons? Oh, God, what's his damn name? Oh my God, I can't think of his fucking name. That fucking guy. I can't stand him. His name's not coming to my fucking mind just because he's that unimportant to me. I don't know. But him too. Like, I didn't like those movies, but there are some lower key ones that I thought were tremendous. They got to let Scream die out, let it go. And yeah, that's something I want to talk about too, is the whole idea of resting on laurels and the whole idea of playing and pandering to the establishment, right? What I've seen over the past year or so is that it looks and appears to me that people are getting fucking tired of it. Look at, and we can switch genres for a second here. Look at the superhero / action adventure genre. Did Masters of the Universe really do that well? Did Supergirl really do that well? Did the new Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu, did that do that well? Is it the fact that these three movies didn't deserve to do well? Is it the fact that these three movies underwhelmed? There's always factors. But to me, what it feels like, what it really, really feels like, is that people are fucking sick and tired of the same old shit. And we want something new. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, at least it's something new. And I think that people have grown tiresome of these movies that are coming around the pike, especially in the superhero action adventure genre. And then you look back and you look at the horror genre with the Scream 7. Yeah, it made a ton of money. It made over $100 million its opening weekend or somewhere in that ballpark. Did anybody really like the movie, though? Was anybody really running back to the theater to go see it again? Or were you just preying on the nostalgic Scream fan base that will go see and support any Scream movie because they're such diehard Scream marks, and they'll bring their ghost face masks and they'll bring their cloaks and they'll bring their popcorn buckets and they'll blow each other in the theater because that's their fandom. That's their thing. They don't have to know anything else going in. They are resting on the past and nostalgia. That's what gets them in the theater, and that's how they get their money. But even something like that, it doesn't seem like it was critically well received. Ready or Not 2 didn't make a lot of money. Like, it just seems like people are catching up to the bullshit all of a sudden, and they don't want to keep seeing these movies that are done over and over and over again. It's kind of refreshing that the audience have woken up to that. I thought Scream 7 was such a disappointment. One of the worst killer reveals. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure I'd agree with you because Scream 5 and 6 that was the line for me. Do you think that movies like Sinners appealed to general audiences, but horror lovers saw though as being shallow? That's the thing. And we could talk about that even with something like Obsession and back. Like, when you are able to reach the common person, the common average moviegoer, that is an accomplishment, right? How many times, think about it to yourself. Think about it. You're a horror film fan. You're watching Grande's Graveyard, and I appreciate anyone that's here tonight. You're watching something like this, and you, let's say, hear about a new movie that comes out, and you're not a drama fan, but you hear about all the praise, all the hype, all the people going to see it. And you go and see it. Like, hey, you went to just go see a movie in a genre that you're not that big of a fan of. However, it was the word of mouth. It was the hype. that's what got you to buy a ticket. That's what got you into the theater to go see it. When horror movies start doing that for people who do not like this genre, which there are plenty of them that don't like it, when they start buying tickets, you've got a great thing on your hands there, because yeah, it's appealing to the common fan, the general audience. And like that to me is great. And yes, listen, Sinners, I do think garnered and struck a nerve with the common moviegoer, because again, it's not just a horror movie. You have a little bit of the old school style, sort of a Western feel vibe to it. You have big shootout. You have dramatic themes. Sinners was trying to do so many different things at once. And I think that's why it kind of got a little bit of everybody. And sometimes it's good. It's good to be well-rounded. My favorite movie of all time, Dawn of the Dead. To me, the reason why I love it is because of how well-rounded it is. So sometimes the more well-rounded you are, the more of an audience you're going to attract. But with something like Obsession, which is basically just a horror film, or to me, a bad black comedy, but that's sort of what it was to me. Again, it garnered the common fan, and that is what you want to do. Because once you got them, you got everybody. Scream 7 was mad, just tired of it, but they greenlighting another one, Jesus Christ. Yes, listen, hey, you make a $200 million plus movie, and that many people are going on the opening weekend. They're going to make them until there's not that many people there for the opening weekend. Look what just happened. Another movie that just came out, Jackass for Best and Last, whatever it's called. All the Jackass movies prior made a ton of fucking money. Jackass Best and Last didn't really make that much money. I don't even know if they're going to profit. As of the recording of this, it does not look like they're going to make much of a profit, if at all. That's pretty crazy considering the other Jackass movies made a ton of money. Why did this one bomb? I don't know. Maybe because they're fucking old. Maybe because it's pretty played out. Maybe because people are fucking sick of it. And you see that not just with comedy, not just with drama, action, adventure, but with the horror genre too. I truly think we're seeing a transitional period in film, and especially in the horror genre, because it feels like horror is way ahead of all of them. Just pre-order my Blu-ray for Obsession. That's awesome. I kind of like Scream 7 until the last act. The reveal was dog shit. Understood. I was wondering about Obsession. Looks like something I could enjoy. Curious. Listen, a lot of people enjoyed it. And I think a lot of people, for them, it struck a nerve. And I've come through a couple of people like Jen's Reviews from the Graves. Go subscribe to Jen. She's great. She reached out. She's like, I can't believe I got lit up for not liking it and all this stuff. And she and I talked. I was like, well, what, tell me what you feel. And she's like, I just thought it was generic. I thought it was vanilla. And she kind of explained her gripes to me. And I was like, yeah, like I completely get that too. And I felt that way too. And to people that are like me, the few and far between that didn't like Obsession, a lot of them, I hear them say, oh, I don't get why something like this struck a nerve. That's where I sort of have to disagree. I get why it struck a nerve. I think it struck a nerve because simply it's easy to relate to. Anyone can relate to it that's ever been in a bad / toxic / even maybe for a period of time good relationship. I think a lot of people saw it and went, holy shit, I identify with that. I've dated a girl crazy like that. Or, oh, I dated the guy that was obsessed with me and wanted me to be obsessed with him. Like it plays on so many parallels with people in their own lives. And I think that's why Obsession has been so popular and garnered such a great following, is because I think so many people related and saw themselves in it. And that's great if you do. And listen, my problems with it, yeah, I thought it was too comedic. I thought it was too one note. I didn't think it ever got disturbing enough. I thought the whole movie wasn't dark enough. I thought it really felt like a bad black comedy to me. But some other people, they swear that it was one of the scariest things they've ever seen. And oh my God, when she's staring at him in the bedroom while he's sleeping, I was terrified. You're really scared of a woman with giant yits staring at you in your bedroom? I don't know about you, but I would be fine with that shit. It just didn't hit for me. But I could see why it hit for others. I can totally see why it hit for others. And it's great that it hit for others. I believe it or not, I wish I was with you. I wish I felt the same way, if it's any consolation. Did you know, Grande, they're remaking Maniac Cop and Sam Raimi's Darkman? I didn't know that, but it fucking figures, right? I mean, it figures. I enjoyed Undertone. I thought it was very creepy. I did too. I thought Undertone was tremendous. You have the right not to enjoy something. So yeah, absolutely. Everybody has the right to enjoy or not to enjoy something, for sure. People saying hi. We got Patrick in the house. Welcome, Pat. Hope all is well with you. I'd play the saxophone for any Naravitti any day. Oh, yes. A little Devil's Honey on it. Hell yeah, man. I also didn't care about Backrooms. That was the most boring son of a bitch I've ever seen. See, that I disagree. I thought Backrooms was tremendous. I really thought Backrooms was great. I thought for such a young up-and-comer, that literally was not of the legal drinking age when the movie was released. I thought he made such a deep and thought-provoking picture that I'm excited for him. I'm excited for whatever comes next, man. That is so cool. And on his opening weekend, his movie outgrosses a fucking Star Wars film. 20 years old, outgrossed a Star Wars film. Nobody in fucking the world is ever going to be able to say that again. He can forever wear that as a badge of honor, that he's the one and only. I thought Hereditary was okay, but very overhyped, like Thanksgiving for me, at least decent movies, but not the greatest thing since sliced bread. Sure, listen, hey, there's always going to be the people that feel the movie that's super hyped up was okay, was average. Then there's going to be people that didn't like it, the thing whatsoever, and they'll tell you each and every waking second of why they didn't like it. Backrooms is horrible. I disagree. I thought Backrooms was pretty good. We got Markomania Rules. Markomania. Hello, everybody. What's going on, brother? What's going on, Mark? Well, the Love Machine. That's who that really is. Interested to check out Obsession, but it gives me the Monkey, Truth or Dare, tarot vibes. The lightning atmosphere feels like it's been done a lot. You know, that's actually a really great comparison. It has the exact tone of the Monkey. It's just a silly, stupid, it never gets serious, didn't work movie. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I would say you probably won't like it if you didn't like those other ones you just mentioned. I'm happy you said it too, because I said it out of the theater. I said that reminded me of Truth or Dare. Everybody was like, no. So I'm glad somebody else saw it. Even if you haven't seen the movie yet, that's totally the vibe I got from it too. Truth or Dare, like a universally panned movie. And there you go. I'm so glad I went to see Obsession in the back rooms instead of Mandalorian. That to me, just this comment right here is where we're headed. Right? Not the multi-$100 million Star Wars movie with the Burger King promotion. And, oh, did you get the Gorgoo shake? Did you get the fucking Mandalorian fries? Did you get the fucking Mandalorian burger? No, we didn't get the fucking shit. You know what we did? We went to go see 2 original horror movies that kicked your fucking ass. And that's really what it is. Didn't hate Obsession, just found it overrated. But Backrooms, I found the most boring ass film I've ever seen. Okay, interesting. That's totally fine if you feel that way. This is a strange era for horror for me. There seems to be 1 or 2 movies a year that I love, a couple I could tolerate, and the rest I just have no use for. That seems to be the pattern for me now. And yeah, up until this year, I'd have to agree with you, but like I am kind of excited for the future, and we'll get into that. 2 horror movies I enjoy from the last few years are Smile and Borderline 2 and Borderline 2. Well, I brought up Smile 2. Smile 2 is awesome, and I did review it earlier this year on the show. Backrooms is even worse than Hereditary. No, I disagree. I think Hereditary is way, way inferior. A24 is hit and miss. Granted, they give out good movies, but most of them feel like pretentious crap. Okay, I can hear that for sure. Yay, Juan love when people were all about Peele and Astor and they were gonna save the horror genre. I was like, what about Juan? He has been here holding it down. Sure, and I have a whole message and point about James Wan that I'm going to get into here in a little bit. Juan and Winnell both love James Wan, love Leigh Winnell. Had fun with Bloodlines too. That's awesome. He had fun with Bloodlines. Let's see. Lot of unsung directors / screenwriters out here. Yeah, no, there definitely are. I think that's what the genre is definitely missing: creativity and originality. So much has been done already, but that's not an excuse to be lazy. You can take the old and put a new, fresh twist on it. And that's what something like Obsession did. The old, be careful what you wish for, love potion story, that's been done to death. I talked about The Chaser last week, the love potion gone wrong. The how many freaking episodes of anthology series have done the love potion gone wrong thing. I didn't think it did it right or good, but it fucking made a ton of money. So that's Zach Krieger. That's it. Zach Krieger. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of his dumb ass. His dumb ass slipped my head. Krieger Zach. Yeah, we just flip it. Hey, John in chat. Tom is in the house. Welcome, Tom. The Undead of Night. Spider-Man is going to crush it this summer. Oh God, I dread that. When I went to the theater, I was the only one in the new Star Wars movie, which isn't that crazy. You would think a movie about fucking a guy going through the back of the furniture store's portal into these back rooms. You would think that would be the movie with the empty theater, yet that made $350+ million. The Star Wars Mandalorian movie, built-in freaking franchise, a diehard fan base, and there wasn't a soul in the cinema. What does that tell you? I liked Barbarian, and I thought it played well off Castle Freak and kind of subverted it in an interesting way. Okay, interesting. I love Castle Freak. I haven't watched Scream since 4, I think. Well, you made the smart decision. You're smarter than me. Scream 5 and 6. Oh my God. I have been having a great time with all the book to movie adaptations. Project Hail Mary was a 5-star book for me. So was the movie. Excited. I loved Project Hail Mary. I thought that was really well done too. Ryan Gosling was great. He should be up for an Academy Award. I haven't seen Sinners, but I know a few hardcore horror fans that enjoyed it, as do I. That is what made Sinners and Weapons pop. They appeal to general audiences. Yes, and listen, that's what you want to do. This is a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. You don't have to appeal to the diehard gorehound trolls that live under their fucking bridges and come out only when they hear a next horror movie's coming out. No, you can kind of expand to each and everybody, and that's what's really, I think, made those particular movies so special. I liked Sinners because it appealed. I appreciated the timeline. The movie was done in so much in cultural effects and masses. The creativity was there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people felt that way too. I'm guessing you're not a Session 9 fan. Well, I do love Session 9. I agree, Grande. I think people are burned out of sequel, requel, whatever. Bringing back the established characters for nostalgia, it's all too much. Yes, because the best for a while that we could do, Miss C, is the member berries. Do you remember this? Do you remember Michael Myers? Do you remember Chucky? Do you remember Ghostface? Do you remember all these people from yesteryear? And listen, I don't discredit or deny how much success and how much noise movies and characters that we all beloved from yesteryear have made. And that to me is a very important thing. But again, there has to be a time where we move on for it. You need to adapt or you will truly die. And people will eventually get burned out. So it takes some longer than others, but I think we're reaching that point now. I do think that people are fed up, and I think they want to support the up and coming, the new, and that's really what we're seeing here. They will milk that cow until you speak with your wallet. That's a great point, and that's not just even for horror movies. Look at the convention scene. Look at, you and I have talked about Kurt Russell, what Kurt Russell's going to be charging. Love Kurt Russell, one of my favorite actors of all time. Is what he's charging really fair this upcoming convention he's going to do? No, that's an absurd amount of money. But until you speak with your wallet, until you say, you know what, that is absurd, and until it's a majority to the vast majority saying that, they will continue to charge what they're charging because enough people are giving into it in order to feed the cash cow or milk the cash cow, I should say. And that's an unfortunate thing, but it does happen. It does exist. It's a big thing. A lot of it is on us. A lot of it is on us to say, turn the other cheek. Nope, not interested in your Scream movie. Thanks, but no thanks. They should have left Jackass in the casket. They probably should have. But listen, I'm sure they thought, how could we lose money on this? And not, granted, they won't lose much if they lose. They may break even. They may even make a small profit. The point being, they didn't make the money they thought. And that is where the disappointment will lie, whether it's good or bad. It seems to me the general public is mostly only interested in going to the theater to see something they perceive to be original. Obsession is far from original, but normies don't know that. Well, hey, listen, again, no doubt that the love potion, the wish gone bad, whatever trope you want to mention with the one wish willow or pussy willow, as I called it, there's no denying, again, though, at least it's not another fucking Scream movie. At least it's not a Final Destination sequel. At least it's made with a small budget, right? And then it grossed the world. That to me, if you look in the history of horror, so many instances where you see something like that. Oh, we had a couple of bucks. We scraped together this movie, put it out, and it became this big drive-in success, right? Moving back to the 60s and 70s. A movie like Blood Feast, movies like The Last House on the Left, movies like Hills Have Eyes, movies that were made for pennies and then became very popular in the cult audiences, became very popular at the drive-ins, right? Cannibal movies had been done prior. Revenge movies had been done prior. But again, they were modernized enough and they garnered enough noise to get the modern goer at said time to go with their dates and their families to go see movies like this. And I think that, again, that never changes. That'll forever be eternal, whether it's 2026, whether it's 1969. It's always going to be eternal that way. Good Boy and Dog Years struck my nerve, and there's always going to be something like I think you like this one too, Pat. Stop motion. I believe this one struck your nerve too. I don't know if it struck your nerve, but I know you liked it. I think you're right, Miss C. I think when a slightly original movie not based off an existing IP comes out, people go crazy for it because there's so many remakes, sequels, and rehashes. And listen, can you blame those people? Because I can't. I can't blame these people. If your alternative is Scream 5, Scream 7, Toy Story 5, Jackass, Best and Last, fucking Ready or Not 2, if that's my alternative, yeah, fuck it. Go. I don't even care if you hate Obsession as much as I hated it. I will rather go support that than another fucking movie where I know I'm just going to add to the box office total. People are subsequently hungry for fresh horror. Yes, and I think that they're showing you that now. Like, to me, for two up and comers to make two movies respectively, look at Obsession and Backrooms, they gross together over $750 million worldwide, and they're both not even done yet. But even the Undertone, 500,000 to make 20 million in the United States, that's a great accomplishment. You grossed fucking a ton of money, dude. That is insane. That's an insane amount of money, dude. For every $500,000 movie, and you made 20, like, that's a really, really big accomplishment. Session 9 is a favorite in the I Live in the Weak and the Wounded line. As we said, oh my God, dude, Session 9 is one of my faves. I love Session 9. And just fresh films in general, absolutely. Let's scroll down a little bit more. I can't even imagine how bad a Maniac Cop remake would be in this day and age. It doesn't fit. That's a product of its time. I mean, does it count if you outgross a Disney Wars movie? I mean, yeah, to me it counts. Dude, anybody out, like, beating a Star Wars film is an accomplishment. And especially if you're 20 years old and you had a $10 million movie about fucking furniture rooms and you beat the fuck out of a Baby Yoda movie. Hell yeah. The preview was enough, I guess, for Obsession. Listen, yeah. Peele came and went quickly for me. Get Out was awesome, though. Listen, that's another guy that came from the comedy world, that made all the sketches on Key and Peele, and then all of a sudden made a movie like Get Out that, again, it struck a nerve. It turned a lot of heads, got a lot of people talking. It wasn't a movie that they thought was going to do all that much. Made all this noise, and then the next thing you know, the guy's accepting a Oscar for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars. Like, that's pretty crazy. Love to death on Tales from the Crypt. Give her once, she'll love you for life. Love one drop, she'll be your wife. Give her two, and she'll be yours for life. One of the worst crypts. When I saw Backrooms and Obsession, the theaters were packed. Backrooms overcame the power of Baby Yoda. They really did. The Force was stronger with them. Star Wars and comic book movies have run their course, in my opinion. I really loved Oddity and Hokum. I loved that they were not only scary, but had good mystery to them. Did you see them, Grande? I did not see Hokum. I did see Oddity, and I thought it was really well done. I know that's from the same director. I still got to see Hokum, so I haven't seen that yet, but I will. I have it downloaded, so I'll see Hokum at some point. But again, that guy showed me a lot, and I'm happy that he got a movie that went to the theater. Now, granted, it didn't make Obsession Backrooms money, but it made around the 20 million something mark. So yeah, that's pretty good, again, for another movie that was low budget. How I miss 80s and 90s horror, don't we all? Ryan Gosling from London, Ontario. Is he really? I didn't know that. I freaking love Ryan Gosling. Oddity is fantastic. I agree. I liked Oddity a lot. People talking about it. Grande, what type of horror do you think can make a comeback and will be the most successful in this time? Supernatural, psychological, neo, etc. So, okay, I appreciate this question. And the answer is there's no way to know. Now, if you're asking me what I think could make a comeback and be successful in this time, it's definitely not anything like Neo. Because if you look at Neo was very much a product of the 1990s bleeding over to the early 2000s. It was the young, pretty faces on the CW11. It was the young up-and-comers that were stereotyped and typecasted into these roles, and then you basically just tried to rip off Scream's formula of self-aware and parody and laughing at the genre while also being a movie in the genre, right? That's what a lot of the Neo movies did. Supernatural / ghost movies, we've been in that era for I don't know how long. We've been in that era for, and I'm going to get to this point soon, as soon as I get through these comments. I always say it's since this movie, or maybe if you want to dial the clock back to a movie like Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity was a movie that changed the genre forever. And in my opinion, we were stuck in that paranormal supernatural world for quite some time, possibly over 10 years, possibly are still in it. I don't know. But my answer overall is you never truly know what the next movie is that's going to strike a nerve and thus cause the copycats to come out, right? If we start seeing movies to copycat Obsession, then your answer is Obsession. The answer is the Wish Upon a Star, the Monkey's Paw, the Wish Gone Bad. That will be the movies that you start to see coming out in the cinema, right? We remember The Substance. The Substance comes out in 2024, sets the world on fire, nominated for all these Oscars. what did we see this year? We saw Slanted. Did anybody see Slanted, which is a blatant substance ripoff about a girl who is of a different ethnicity that takes this thing and she becomes a Caucasian girl, and that's the whole movie. It's this substance she takes to change her race, and that's their idea of ripping something like the substance off. And shocking to know, it didn't do well and it didn't make any money. So yeah, but that's what Hollywood is. It's very monkey see, very monkey do. Monkey see substance, monkey does Slanted. Monkey sees obsession. It will remain to be seen if we see the copycats that come along the line. Now, what I'm hoping happens is that more of these up-and-comers start to get chances. Because for every Markiplier that made a $50 million movie, for every Curry, for every Kane, for all these guys that had their start on YouTube making shorts and screening in smaller festivals, and then getting their ultimate shot to be a wide released horror film and to gross all the money, the small, low risk netting the high reward. I hope more and more up-and-comers get the shot. That's why I'm so optimistic moving forward. It's because these people that are up-and-coming, that do have the love and do have a passion and do want to be making original pictures, I hope they're the ones that get the chances, because they're the ones that need to. It's not that they deserve to or they've earned to. They need to. It's a necessity because of what we've been saying all night of how hungry we are, how starving we are for that next big thing, man. And that's what we want. So my answer, I hope that it's something that comes from an up-and-comer, that comes from a newbie, that just strikes a nerve, and we can all kind of come together and rally around a movie. That's, I will say, one negative, one bad side of the double-edged sword that is the internet, is that now everyone can voice their opinions on a platform. Whereas in 1984, when Nightmare on Elm Street came out, you didn't have the internet to do that. It just was a universal classic. It was just a movie that everybody fucking loved. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street, that same movie comes out 40 years later, 42 years later, came out this weekend. I'm sure there'll be a ton of people saying it's one of the best horror movies ever made, but there would also be the naysayers that say, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I thought it was boring as hell. You'll have the people that will throw their stones, and that's the internet era. That's what we live in. So it's really hard to make that next big movie that will strike the nerve and move us along, because everyone is kind of in their own opinions and posting about them. We need more shark movies. Well, don't watch Dangerous Animals from last year. That was a pretty bad shark movie. Shark movies. Bring back Sharknado. Yes, make Sharknado 9. Why not? Deep Blue Sea somewhere. They did sequels to Deep Blue Sea, actually. I still cannot believe there was a Toy Story 4 and 5 when 3 ended it perfectly. Money talks, bro. Money talks. Yes, Patrick, more sharks. Toy Story is work, though. Deep Blue Sea got 3 films. That's right. First one was enough. Zombie Sharks from Mars. Someone make that movie. I enjoy the Fear Street movies a lot. Okay. Let's see. People talking. Throw Thomas Jane in it as Space Marine. Oh boy, you got the wrong crypt. That's Till Death, which is a good one. Love to Death is a shitty one with Andrew McCarthy. Oh, okay. Love to Death with Andrew McCarthy's horrible. I meant Till Death. Till Death is freaking great. Give her 2 and she'll be yours for life. I'm going to watch Monsterville from R.L. Stine. Curious to see how it plays out. Okay. Get ready for the run of Backrooms knockoffs, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. Yes. Which, again, it's all right. That I would rather that than another Scream. I would rather that than another remake. I would rather that than a Friday the 13th series with fucking Jason's mom. Like that, I'm there. I'd rather see Bathrooms the movie than another Friday the 13th spent. Like, why? Like, what more is there to tell in a story? What more is there to tell? There's nothing left to tell other than to milk it. Good Lord, no. They were milking Supernatural too, I agree, but Insidious and Conjuring. Oh, I love Insidious and I love The Conjuring. Those are 2 great movies. And yeah, I think they were both super influential in their own way too. When I see Amityville Obsession, I'm running for my life, LOL. Oh boy. Amityville is great, even the weaker ones. Let's see. Isn't that Asian girl becomes a white girl? Yes, exactly. I feel like that's dated as fuck. It seems like a Get Out knockoff. I thought it was more of a Substance knock, but sure, maybe there's a Get Out knock in there too. Grande, Down by the Bay 2, question mark. A cool original idea, continuance loop, run through the woods, only to end up by the bay would be sick, and the yellow dress girl gets a little closer every time. Well, thank you so much. I'm your first time on the Graveyard, so I appreciate you checking out the short. Thank you so much for saying something like that. Now let's Kubrick lovers in the house. What's going on, Kubrick lover? Hope all is well with you, bro. I want to get into a point, though, that I have about these up and comers, and that I have mentioned that I'm excited for what comes next. I'm excited for your up and comers to get these opportunities moving forward. However, I see a trend that scares me, and a trend that I don't think should be the case. But knowing studios, knowing the town of Hollywood, knowing how the business is, you really should have expected nothing less. And what am I referring to? As soon as Undertone comes out, makes the money that it makes the noise that it made. I know, again, a lot of people didn't like it, but there are some people that really did like it. What was the next thing that Ian Tuason, the director, what was the next thing he was offered, right? Jason Blumhouse offers him to make the next Paranormal Activity movie, which is, I think, Paranormal Activity 9, if I'm not mistaken. That's your reward. You made a really good, scary, effective psychological horror film. You made a movie of $500,000, all in one location, all with one actress that made a bunch of noise. You know what you're going to get you? We'll get this guy, Paranormal Activity 9. Curry Barker, you make a $400 million picture. You have people mentioning your movie on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook every single day, making memes, making arguments and conversations about who the villain of the movie really is. What did we hand him? The next Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which I actually think might even be the 9th Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. These are the rewards. These are the handouts that these up-and-comers are getting. And I think what you're going to end up doing, if your studios, not that they care, is crippling their growth, is stunting their growth. And what do I mean by that? Let's talk about James Wan. I wanted to talk a little bit about James Wan because what all these up-and-comers and their success, it reminds me of up-and-comers of yesteryear with success, right? Remember when the young up-and-comer James Wan made Saw? A movie that came out, was made for about $1 million, that came out in October of 2004 and struck a nerve and changed the genre forever. What was James Wan's next movie? Wasn't Saw 2. He did the smart thing. He said, wait a minute, let me be an executive producer. Let me get my paycheck. Let me get my money from the Saw movies. We could still ride the money Saw train. We could still get the money from the ideas that I and Leigh Whannell created. But I want to do something original. I want to do something like Dead Silence. This movie came out and bombed and was hated and was, to this day, I don't think James Wan or Leigh Whannell liked the picture. That's fine. I think this is a really good follow-up. I think this is a really important and instrumental movie in the career of James Wan because I think it's where he learned how to make pictures scary. And the theme from Charlie Clouser and the town of Ravens Fair. It's a film that, to me, it really helped his growth in and of the fact that what he made moving forward, right? You have movies like Insidious. You have movies like The Conjuring, movies that are terrifying that made a shit ton of money. And again, a movie even in the interim like Death Sentence, which came out the following year, was made for, a decent amount of money, and it bombed. It came out the same day as Rob Zombie's Halloween, and it came and it went like a fart in church, and nobody went to go support this movie. And it looked like for a while, James Wan's career was going to be over until he got $1 million budget to make a movie like Insidious that grossed the world, a PG-13 horror movie that made a ton of money, that is still a franchise that we're going to get a sequel to this coming year, right? A little movie that could for $1 million that grossed the world and struck a nerve. James Wan did it right. Whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you like him, whether you don't, he did it right. If he had continued to make Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, guess where James Wan would be now? Would he have a lot of money? Absolutely. But it would have stunted his growth as a filmmaker, and I don't think we get movies like Malignant. I don't think we get movies like The Conjuring. I don't think we get movies like Insidious. And even so, let's mention another guy that was youngish when the time he directed his very first movie. Let's talk about him. I know he's a very controversial guy, but let's talk about it. Let's make the point. Rob Zombie, in the year 2000, directed this movie. Now, it doesn't get released till 2003 because Universal famously hated the movie. Yet now they do their Universal Horror Nights, and one of the years this was the theme. So go figure. I guess time heals all wounds. But Rob Zombie made this movie, and the fact that I know a lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people say the ending is terrible, and it is. They threw money at it. It's not a very cohesive or well-done ending. However, what Rob Zombie did with this movie was he created memorable characters that everyone remembers to this day. 26 years later, we still remember Baby. We still remember Otis. We still remember Captain Spaulding. Most of all, fuck you! We all remember the characters of this movie. Whether you like it or not, it's very memorable. And then moving on to something like The Devil's Rejects was a monster hit when it came out in 2005. People, packing out theaters, hanging from the rafters in the movie theater, if you will, as Freebird played and the Three from Hell drove into the fire of the police. Like, those were movies that, again, were original, is creative. He's creating his own characters. And then what happened? What happened? Because he was the hot name of the week, because he was booming, they said, let's get him to remake Halloween. Let's have him do a remake. And what happened from here? Listen, whether you like this movie or not, it stunted his growth. I would much rather have gotten another movie that was creative after A Devil's Rejects. Instead, we'll sign Rob Zombie. We'll make him do Halloween movies, even though the fact that he didn't say Halloween. Rob Zombie says House of a Thousand Corpses / Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, way more influential, way more his speed. Whereas Halloween, it doesn't say Rob Zombie at all, yet they picked him because his name was the hottest at the time. Not that he was the best fit, but because he was the most hot name in the genre at that time. And they said, hey, we want you to do this. And look what happened after that. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. A lot of people hate it. 31. I like Lords of Salem. I think that's a movie that he should have done instead of a Halloween movies. But again, where is he now? The Munsters, it seems like it stunts their growth. And now, while I would be the first one to tell you that if I was in the shoes of a Curry Barker, if I was in the shoes of Ian Tuason or Kane Parsons or any of these guys that are up and coming that are making these successful movies that made a lot of noise and money, I'd be the first one to tell you that if a studio came to me with a big contract and said, John Grande, we want you to make our next Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'd be a fucking liar if I sat here and told you that I wouldn't have said yes to that contract, that I wouldn't say yes to that money, that you wouldn't say yes to that deal. That's life-changing money. That's getting me out of an 8 to 5 every day for the rest of my life. That's getting me out of the monotony of the work world, right? This is the things that we all do. We all work our jobs, hopefully some better than others, but at the end of the day, you can't deny that you wouldn't take that money and take that deal. But my issue more so is not with the filmmaker that's accepting these things. It's with the studios that are offering them. Back in the day, right? Look at a Wes Craven. We mentioned other young up and comers at the time, right? Wes Craven makes 2 drive-in classics in Last House and The Hills Have Eyes. Hits a wall for a few years, right? Movies that don't really necessarily hit. Movies like Deadly Blessing. Movies like Swamp Thing, movies that weren't highly successful or anything like that. He makes Nightmare on Elm Street, and all of a sudden everybody wanted his movies. Hey, wait a minute, Wes Craven, we want you 3-picture deal. We want to sign you on. And that's what they used to do back in the 80s and the 70s and even before that, were these picture deals, right? We want your next 3 pictures. Or for an actor or actress, it's generally 5 to 6 pictures. We want the next 6 Wes Craven movies. We want the next 3. And that's what happened, right? Wes Craven, after Nightmare on Elm Street comes out, he wasn't interested. I don't want to do sequels. I don't want to stunt my growth. What do? Deadly Friend. What do? Shocker. What do? The people under the stairs, The Serpent and the Rainbow. You may like those movies. You may not like those movies. At least he was trying something new. And at least he was putting out different options for the horror genre under the umbrella of getting these 3-picture deals. I think the biggest disgrace in Hollywood right now is the fact that these young up-and-comers come around the pike, make something for little, it grosses the world, and you're rewarding them with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 9, Paranormal Activity 9. What is left to say in the Leatherface world? What is left to say in the world of watching people sleep with night footage? What is left to say other than the fact that, the name, there's nothing left to say. Don't stunt these people's growths. And you're giving them offers that they can't refuse, because what else are they going to say? No, you know what? I'm going to say no to you, and I won't take my big payday and chance to make it here. Like, what I fear of is, let's say the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new Paranormal Activity, whatever Kane Parsons does next. I know he wants to do a sequel to Backrooms, which after the money he made, he could probably make 10 sequels if he wanted to. Whatever they end up doing with those, I hope they're successful, because you know what happens if they're not? They're going to be dropped like they're yesterday's news. They're going to be dropped like a bad habit, where instead what should happen with all the money you gross, you should say, hey, Curry, I want your next 3 movies. Let's sit down. Let's talk about this. I want your best ideas. I want you to have fun with this. What's your passion project? What do you want to do? What do you yearn to make? And I've thrown a lot of stones at another guy, and I'll mention his name right here. Ari Aster. I'm not a big Ari Aster guy. Don't like Ari Aster. Didn't like Midsommar. Didn't like Hereditary. I respect one thing about him. I respect that he didn't give in and just, oh, we want you to make the new Halloween. Ari Aster's Halloween. Please, please. He said no. And listen, the Beau is Afraid bombed. The whatever it was called, Eddington, that didn't do too well. I mean, listen, you look at the movies he's made since he's left horror, and they haven't really made a lot of noise in the box office, right? However, he's at least being an artist, making the movies that he wants to make and getting the money to do so because they see his talent. But what I worry about, what I fear of, is that somebody like him, the money eventually, they'll stop giving you the money because they know that there's no profit in the return. Okay, your last 2 movies bombed. They weren't horror movies. You want to make a horror movie? That'll make some money. I know your name on a horror movie will make money, but your name on anything else, you're a cancer. You're going to drive people away from the cinema. That's the last fucking thing we want. So, while I respect what he did, I don't know if, all these other up-and-comers are going to be able to make those same choices. And we'll see. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I hope that after these movies that they do of franchise and sequels and things like that, that they are given more opportunities to do what they want to do. Because when you make a movie that makes this much, that's freaking awesome. That's really inspiring. And to me, to somebody like me, and somebody had mentioned the short I did, like that's really like something that I find inspiring. Somebody as a 29-year-old person, at least as the recording of this, I'm 30 is creeping up, but we're holding on. Like, that inspires me that these guys did a good job and these guys are sung and are known names in the community now. Like, that's so inspirational. Like, will that happen for me? No, but the fact that it's there and something to shoot for, that is all the inspiration somebody like me needs, and all the inspiration that someone who might be the next one of them to get the opportunity to gross all the money and possibly strike a nerve in the community. That's what I look forward to. That's what I think is really, really cool about this thing. But let me get back to comments. Let me hear from you guys what you have to say, because there was a few comments. Jason, Freddie, Chucky served their purpose. Iconic. They did, and it was great to celebrate them, and we all celebrate them even to this day. But again, there always comes the time where you've got to move on and you've got to adapt to whatever's next, whatever the next thing is, whatever it may be. It's almost, I think, at this point, better if we all can come together and just agree on one thing. But it's really hard, again, in the internet era. And I'm a big part of that. Hey, I wish I could be with everybody in Love Obsession. I just didn't, to be honest, didn't like it. Cocaine Backrooms, Blood Hollow is coming. Studio ruin franchise, fresh directors. They do. They really do. And that's what's so sad about it to me. Like, I don't get how they didn't go up to this Curry Barker guy and say, hey, what's the next 3 movies you want to do, man? And like, I don't know, like, it's almost better to be an actor in one of those movies, right? That indie girl, you will, mark my words, Indy Navarrete, you will see her as much as you see Jenna Ortega now. Like, they will cast her in everything because she's a pretty face and because her performance got a lot of people. A lot of people loved it. And like, that's awesome for her. She's overnight made. Like, she'll be forever will be able to get a job. Like, it's pretty cool. Let Paranormal Activity go. I'm with you. But unfortunately, that was his reward for making, in my opinion, the best horror movie of the year. Get him Paranormal Activity 9. Like, what? Like, what? Really? Zach Krieger, Resident Evil. You make weapons, which again I didn't like. How in the hell is that guy's next movie not in another original movie? I would say, Zach, sit down. You made a ton of money. We're at the Academy Awards celebrating fucking the Wendy lady. What the fuck? What, Gladys? It ain't Grande's graveyard. It's Gladys's graveyard. God damn it. I mean, this woman won an Academy Award. How the fuck is the next movie that you get him to do a Resident Evil movie? Like, why? Did anything about Weapons or Barbarian or Miss March, if anyone's fucking brave enough to watch that, what about any of those movies said Resident Evil? It just seems like that's the hot name. Let's get them to the Resident Evil movie we want to make. And that is the wrong way to do it. And it's history has shown that. Imagine if a young up and coming George Romero had just been, oh, hey, you know, George, you made Night of the Living Dead. Great movie. We want you to remake Frankenstein next. Hey, George, you did that with the Dead guys. Let's have you do a Frankenstein movie. Okay, yeah. You would have stunted his fucking growth. And I know that George didn't want to be typecasted, and that's why he does There's Always Vanilla and Season of the Witch and The Crazies. And he ended up eventually kind of revolving his way back to it, right, with Martin and Dawn of the Dead. What happened after Dawn of the Dead? Sal M. Hassanen said, I want your next 3 pictures, motherfucker. As long as one of them's the Day of the Dead sequel, you can do the 2 original movies that you really want to do, the passionate ones. What did we get out of that? Oh, I don't know. Creepshow, one of the all-time great horror anthology movies ever made. That's because a guy like George Romero wasn't handed Paranormal Activity 9 or fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre 9. He was handed a blank slate, a clean palette, a writer like Stephen King, and the rest, 5 jolting tales of horror that to me is one of the all-time great horror movies. That's what you got. And you got Night Riders, which is another great movie, not a horror movie, but another good movie that didn't make a lot of money, but still, I like the movie a lot. These are things that, again, when you stunt the growth of up-and-comers, bad things happen. It's basically gone throughout the entirety of eternity, and it just scares me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre ended after part 2 as far as I'm concerned. That's not a bad place to jump off, really. You could, in theory, argue that it could have ended after 1 movie. After 9 activities, the paranormal should open up a gym. Yeah, for real. It really should open up a gym. It might as fucking well. Might as well. The paranormal membership at fucking, oh my God. They'll build one right next to a Chipotle. The Josh Trank syndrome. Well, that's a really fucking crazy story. That I can't touch on that much because Josh Trank's story is so unlike a lot of others. A lot of people have said that he was drunk or under the influence when a lot of these things were happening. Now, obviously, that was also the superhero world that he got involved with. And when you dabble with Sony, Sony will dabble with you. And unfortunately, you look at your Madam Webs, your Morbiuses, your Fan Four Sticks of the world, these things happen. So I can't really throw the tomatoes in him. But I also don't know, like, it's not like he's done anything worth a shit since. That Capone movie with Tom Hardy was terrible movie. LOL, Jim. Yeah, man, Paranormal Activity just needs to die already. That gimmick has run dry and wasn't that good to begin with. There's some movies in there I like, but not a lot. Well, yeah, well, listen, again, think about the noise it made. And it was all from the marketing. It was just night vision of people grabbing onto each other. And they made a $7,000 movie or a $15,000 movie, somewhere in that ballpark. And it became one of the biggest grossers of all time. It derailed the Saw franchise. Saw was done. It ended the Saw train and it started all these paranormal movies that Insidious and The Conjuring were able to be very successful for them moving forward. And then you got something like that. Saw 1 is the only Saw I like. I love Saw 1 and 2. After that, it gets a little dicey for sure. Dead Silence is work. I love Dead Silence. I think Dead Silence, despite the fact that, again, that he doesn't like the movie and a lot of people don't like the movie, again, I think it really helped him. I think without Dead Silence, I don't think you have The Conjuring. I don't think you have, I think his career would be completely different if he just rode the Saw train until it crashed. And eventually it did. Dead Silence, a massive cult favorite, which is great to see. That's awesome to see. Dead Silence is real solid, but maybe a bit rushed, but it's a cool movie. Death Sentence is underrated. Arguably his best movie. I love Death Sentence. Great movie, creative. Death Sentence was great. I agree. To me, a great modern day Death Wish type of film. If you like Death Sentence, I highly recommend The Brave One and Law Abiding Citizen. Both really good movies. Law Abiding Citizen especially. Death Sentence making folks watch Asron Boone. Law Abiding Citizen is standing ovation. Yeah, it's really good. Law Abiding Citizen is so twisted. Wow, it's the Law Abiding Citizen chat now. Yes, the Law Abiding Citizen is really good. Devil's Rejects is awesome. Yeah, it is. It is. I only remember Otis from Superman 78. Otisburg. What? Love Dead Silence. I thought it was creepy and had a great villain. I never understood why it was not well liked. Yeah, I mean, I know why the filmmakers didn't like it, but yeah, at the time it was. I think if you look to this day, it has like a 20 on Rotten Tomatoes and like maybe a 6 on IMDb. Like it's not a well perceived movie, and to me, as far as modern day doll / ventriloquist horror goes, that's the one. I think it's a really good movie. Love Corpses, saw it twice in the theaters. That's the thing. It has characters in it that make you want to go back and watch it, despite how long it's been, despite its original run of seeing it twice in the theater. Like, that's what Rob Zombie's strength was. It was writing memorable characters. And then once you put those characters that he tried to make memorable in a franchise movie where you're going to get a lot of people that are there just because of their nostalgia and love for the original movies, they're not going to gravitate towards things like that because they're not the audience for that. He was best off sticking to his guns and, obviously took the payday from the Weinsteins, and we all know how well that went. I kind of see Death Sentence, Law Abiding Citizen, The Brave One in a weird way as an unofficial trilogy. Great underrated trilogy of films. Love the Firefly trilogy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix was very disrespectful. LOL, like what the hell was that? It was terrible. It was beyond bad. Where you had fucking Mick Garris running around pretending to be Sally. Yeah, TCM was much better fit for Rob Zombie than Halloween was. It's the truth. The People Under the Stairs. Love The People Under the Stairs. Great movie. People Under the Stairs might be my favorite Craven movie. Like that's what to me is so cool. That's what you get instead of, hey Wes, you want to remake Dracula? What? Why would you fucking do that? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some directors that remake movies because they're super passionate about it. Like we mentioned here, freaking Robert Eggers loved the original Nosferatu. Let me make the modern version of it. There's nothing wrong with that. Guillermo del Toro remade Frankenstein, and John Carpenter remade The Thing, and Chuck, what the hell is his name? Chuck, can't think of his fucking name. Chuck, whatever, remade The Blob in 1988. Chuck, I can't think of the motherfucker's name. Chuck something. Chuck Russell. He remade The Blob in 1987. Like, I don't mind remakes. I'm not saying remakes don't have a place or anything like that, but I think that in a lot of ways, you can't rest on those. You can't get these up and comers to just do stuff like that because eventually it'll hit a wall. Yeah, I loved The Brave One. Trench, good Jodie Foster film. Trench, You're My Horror Twin. Watched People Under the Stairs not too long ago. Really enjoyed it. I do too. I agree with you, Trenchy. I love People Under the Stairs. I'm very happy to own it. It's great. It's such a banger. I feel like the studios have always been okay. You can make your movie, but you got to make our movie too. We've seen so many cases of that throughout the years. It may be worse now. It is worse now, Bradley. How in the hell it's a one picture deal to make a fucking Leatherface movie? What's the last Leatherface movie that was worth a shit? You might have to go back to 1986. You might have to go back to 1974. That's how long back you've got to go. Like that's crazy. Yet that's what we want you to do. Like, that's a disgrace to me. You're totally stunting them. Hell yeah, though. Eddington was great. The movie goes off the rails. I'm not seeing Eddington, to be honest. Paranormal Activity 9, freaking 9, weakest saga in the history of horror. Yet here they are continuously making more and more. Power and Glory Hole is in the house. What a name. Welcome to the graveyard. I am waiting for some new horror icons. I know people love Art the Clown, but that doesn't work for me, brother. Well, I agree. I totally do not like the Terrifier movies either. But again, what I find very interesting about that is you haven't had many people rip that off. Now, there are some gratuitous violence in some of these up and coming movies that you'll see, for example, the scene in Obsession where the one lady gets her face smashed on the steering wheel brick. That's totally something out of, make her face mashed potatoes because art would do it that way. That's what it screamed of to me, where I rolled my eyes in the theater. I was like, oh man, one of these, but yeah, no, I agree with you. I would like some more horror icons, but again, they don't grow off trees. It's also something you kind of have to fall into. Right? Like look at messing Wes Craven a bunch tonight. Freddy Krueger, Horace Pinker. Both very good, charismatic, heelish horror villains that star in Wes Craven pictures. And Robert Englund to this day is charging people $300 for his autograph and for his photo op, and is one of the most, if not the most single popular horror villain that there's ever been, Freddy Krueger. Horace Pinker. Does anybody really remember Horace Pinker? Now, I know maybe the diehards do. Maybe the people that really like Shocker do. But it didn't hit the same. You know why it didn't hit the same? It's because Wes was going for it. Wes wanted him to be on the level of a Freddy Krueger. When you're trying to do that, when you're aiming for those fences, odds are you're going to come up short. It's when you're not trying to shoot that high. It's when you're just doing what you're doing organically. That seems to be the times where you fall into it. And then next thing you know, you've got that icon on your hands. This may sound crazy, but the girl from Obsession very much could turn out to be a horror icon. I know that sounds crazy, and I don't like it, and I don't want it to happen, but it very well could. It very, very well could. It's a very big possibility. We need fresh ideas and directors not willing to settle for anything. Movie making is an art form. You got to want to be proud of what you make them popular. The importance of keeping up with the times is dire, but damn, where's the passion? Well, again, I don't think it's a lack of passion from these guys that we've talked about here tonight, whether I like their movies or not. It's the lack of passions from the studio. Like, how do you not see something like this made for so low and say, wait a minute, what if we gave them like $10 million and let them do something original, right? Is that a lot of money, especially for a movie nowadays? No, it is not. That is not a lot of money. However, with 10 plus times the money that somebody like Curry or Ian had, who knows what they could do next with an original palette? Who knows what we could see from Ian Tuason if we could leave the house of an undertone, right? Those single location. What else you got? Instead, we're paying. Oh, wait a minute. Let's keep him in the house. Let's make it be shot on video. Let's like, it doesn't seem to be in any way beneficiary for the filmmaker. Like, it seems instead, let's just do something that we know will sell based off the name. Whereas instead, what you should do, what's always worked is the make them for low, sell them for high. And that's what you should be doing, but they don't do it. I agree, Grande. If a young filmmaker makes a beloved film that makes a lot of money, you should now pay him big franchise type of money to do another project. Ding, ding, ding. I completely am with that. Because again, who knows? Maybe they strike that nerve again. Maybe they never do. Maybe they're a one-hit wonder. Maybe they just never seem to strike that nerve again. However, is it really not worth the try considering the hundreds of millions, not just the millions, the hundreds of millions that you are literally counting your fingers with while eating Cheetos? I mean, come on. How do you not say, hey, let's take 10 million of this, which is a fraction of $400 million. Let's give him this. Let's give him 10 million. Let's let him do what he wants to do next. And hey, if the thing bombs, I think it could still hit the $10-20 million mark. We could still possibly break even depending on what we spend to market it or the theater cost in return. Very, very interesting hypothetical there. But again, the fact that they're not doing that is the biggest of red flags. Though Passion, Passion sadly doesn't cut it now. They've got to have guaranteed success. They've turned art into algorithm. Wow, that's a Trench. You got to trademark that one. They've turned art into. That sounds like something that Dustin. Let me tell you something, baby. They turned art into algorithm, if you will, Cody. It's been slowly happening since the beginning of time. That's so fucking awesome, man. Trench for president. Bradley, if you ever run for office, I'll register to vote. Creepshow is my favorite horror movie of all time. Yeah, you know why that happened? It's because they gave George Romero a 3-picture deal. They didn't hand him a fucking Mary Shelley novel to redo for the umpteenth time. But that's what you'll see now. You won't see the movies like that, and that bothers me. That's a problem. They threw Sally in the trash can, literally. Grande, did you see The Mortician's Assistant? I saw the preview. It grabbed me, but didn't do well. And the new Mummy is available on HBO. I don't know about that one. I have not seen either one of those. I heard mixed. I heard a lot of bad about the Mummy. I didn't see it. I heard a couple people say it was good, but I heard more bad than good. But like, again, an established name, the Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies made a shit ton of money. And this established name, everybody knows the Mummy. Didn't make a lot of money. It didn't make the noise, right? Something, again, that people are probably sick and tired of, which is unfortunate, but that's where we're at. Rob Zombie should do a Captain Spaulding prequel. I agree. His strength was in creating his own weird, idiosyncratic characters. It was, but now, again, it's over. Like the prime is over. He's not 30, 40 years old anymore. He's fucking over 6 years old. It's over. He's never going to make another movie that is amongst the level of his earlier pictures again, right? He's past his prime. And I get angry at the studio and a company like Dimension for giving him a movie like this. Like, why the fuck was this his offer? I get it, money. I get it. You know, you can't deny it if you're Rob Zombie, but I think it really hurt his career. I think it's almost like selling your soul. It's like, yeah, I'll make a Halloween movie. I'll do it. But that's not where it is. And I hear what Thu was saying about the passion, but unfortunately, yeah, money talks, and he'd be crazy to pass up that money. I love the Mummy movies, though. Not horror, but great, great movies. I love the Brendan, if that's what you're meaning, the Brendan Fraser ones. Yeah. TFH Studios in the house. Welcome, TFH. Remake 1978's The Legacy. Campy, but it had its moments. All right. You're wanting a remake in the house. We're apparently getting behind the Mask sequel, and the guy that plays Art the Clown will also be in it. I'm excited, but also worried. It's a bit late. Yeah, it's been 20 fucking years. It is a bit late. Like, they're like the villains from Tom and Jerry movie. They've got to have money. Sure. Listen, and I mentioned Dusty before. Studios just worried about the money. That's the almighty thing. And I mentioned, like I said, I mentioned Dusty before. There's a great, iconic Dusty Rhodes promo, a quote from Dusty that I always is resonated with me because it applies to each and every field that I'm passionate about, whether it be sports, whether it be pro wrestling, whether it be something like horror movies, whether it be whatever, whether it be literature. The age-old question that Dusty asks, where's the money? Where's the money, baby? Where is the money? And if there's not money in it, if there's not money to be made, money to be had, they're not going to do it. And that's why I think they kind of cower in the corner and say, okay, do another sequel. Whereas instead, what you miss is the chance to gross all the money in the world, right? There has to be a little bit of a risk in order to benefit the reward. And I don't think studios see that now. Instead, they kind of play it so kind of safe and almost like they're terrified in order to see, what they can do. Like Terrifier 2 gave me 80s vibes. Totally, yeah. It's like an over-the-top 80s slasher movie. And this is why I don't rush to new movies right away. I let them sit. Haven't seen a single film from this year. I sometimes watch new films the year they come out, but it's not a usual thing for me. Yeah, no, listen, that may be showing how you feel and how so many others feel about the genre, right? I know a lot of people that don't go to the movies anymore. Fuck it, I'll wait for it to stream. That's terrible for the business. Like, don't get me wrong, you're entitled to feel that way and be that way, but like, I love going to the cinema. Like, one of my favorite things in the whole wide world to do is to go to the cinema, is to go get lost for a couple of hours, use my brain, think a little bit, be entertained, laugh, cry, yell, whatever emotion that it is that the film or filmmaker can evoke from me is, in my opinion, time and money well spent. Now, there are good movies, there are bad movies, and then there's ugly movies. There's so many different types of movies that we'd be here all night if I told you all the types of movies that there are. But at the end of the day, it's nice to have that to go to. And if you keep waiting for the streaming, if you keep just waiting, odds are there won't be the option to go to the movie theater anymore. And just like the video store, it'll almost be something like, oh, remember that? I missed that. And I hope that never happens with the cinema because I just love it. The mortuary assistant was really top drawer. Okay. Thanks. Haha, I'm too lazy to be president, though. Well, it's all right. Yeah, he made an attempt at being artsy fartsy with Lords of Salem and lost me. Understand? See, I would prefer him do something like that than a Michael Myers movie, but that's just me. I have my fingers crossed that Victorian Cycle. I like the book and Colony going to be good. Dude, I love Micah Monroe. I'll be there for that. I will see anything with Micah Monroe. I will be there for Victorian Cycle. I'm excited for it too. So agree, Grande, no risk, no reward. Exactly. No risk, no reward. It's the truth. I'm winding down with kings and queens, and I've slept in and out and died on pork and beans, if you will, Cody. I'm going to go to the movies for the first time in a long time, or at least I plan to. It's technically not for a movie. It's for a pro shot musical called Hadestown. Well, that's cool. I hope you go and have a good time. It's just the movie's expensive now. That's true. That's on them. But again, if you're not getting the people as easily as you used to, the prices have got to go up. Supply and demand. We need some diehard reviewers and collectors to do some independent films. I would love that. I would love more and more of that. And I guess that brings me to the point of what I wanted to make about the future, right? What do I think the future for horror stores? Because we've talked a lot tonight about people from yesteryear, about people from this year, about, all sorts of films and stuff like that. Like we've talked a ton about it tonight, and I appreciate you all. The chat has been unbelievable, the best it's been all year. I don't know if there's a show that rivals this chat, so I thank you all for that, because I thought I was going to get crickets tonight. I really did. So I'm thankful for all of you that I didn't. But with that being said, my I guess outlook on the future. Just today in and of itself, we have another Evil Dead movie dropping in the cinema, right? Evil Dead Burn, I think it's called, which is technically Evil Dead number 6, if you're keeping score at home. I'm not seeing Evil Dead 6. I'm done. I've tapped out. I do not care. these movies are not Evil Dead movies without Sam Raimi. They're not Evil Dead movies without Bruce Campbell. You can get them to be executive produce it. You can put their names on it. You can pay Bruce Campbell enough money to tell somebody to go fuck themselves if they don't go see it. And also, I hope Bruce is in well health. I know he sadly is battling cancer right now, so we're cheering for you, Bruce. But making the point that I was making, it's not Evil Dead without those guys. It's just not. It's really not. And you want to talk about, what about Twilight of the Dead? It's not of the Dead without George Romero. It's not, we can go on forever with things that are not the same without the people that made them what they were. So my outlook for the future of sequels like that, of another Terrifier movie, of more Scream movies, of more, Evil Dead movies, and whatever's coming next, right? I don't know how many people want to mention all of the sequels that are coming out, but these things will always be there because they always have the chance to draw money. So that's fine if they continue to come out. What I hope is that we see less and less of it. What I hope is that people start getting more tiresome and speak with their wallets, like Arthur was saying, and stop going to support these movies because it's enough. It's just enough. There's nothing left to say anymore other than to just take your money and prey upon your nostalgia. And to me, that's not the way I want to spend my time enjoying myself at the movies. That's the last thing I want to do, despite it being one of my favorite places to go. The last thing I want to do is go there and contribute to something that I know is just there to prey upon movies that I liked from the 70s and the 80s. That's just not fair. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to any of us. It's really not. So with that being said, I hope that movies like this, Undertone, Iron Lung, Obsession, Backrooms, Send Help even. I hope that movies like this are more plentiful and more people like, a Sever Viala and Veronica Franz, or the gentleman that directed this movie. I can't think of his damn name. Robert Morgan. Some of these people that are up and comers, the guys that did Heretic, like give them chances to make their own original stuff. And I want to see more of that stuff. That's what I want to see. That's what I hope for the genre moving forward. Will that happen? I don't know. Only time will tell these things. And will I be completely wrong? Is this not a transitional stage? I don't know. Maybe it's just a blip. Maybe it's just a fluke right now that we had two original horror movies come out within a month of each other that both made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. These aren't going to happen every week. But what it shows me is that the hunger is there, the desire is there, and the fans are here to see whatever you got coming next. And I hope that the sequels, remakes, what have you, are diminished and that the up and coming original movies start becoming more plentiful. I hope that the few and far between end up being the sequels as opposed to the original horror movies being the few and far between. That's more so where I'm coming from. So I hope that. I really do hope that for the genre moving forward. But let's get to comments. I want to see what you guys have to say. And I guess a question to ask you guys is, I guess in so many words, if you want to tell me, do you think okay? My hope is that the genre is going to transition and we're going to get more original content and less recycled, rehashed, milked movies. Am I right about that? Is this the beginning of a transitional era of a kind of turning point, or are we just doomed forever to be living in this really rather lackluster time to be a fan of the horror genre? I want to hear it. I want to hear the cold, hard truth. I want to know, am I crazy? Is this a pipe dream that I'm having of this transition and this moving on? Or is it going to be same old shit until we're all in an actual graveyard? I want to know. Tell me right now. Tell me right here. I want to know. Has to be something I think I'm really going to enjoy to take the risk on it. Sure. No, listen, per example, I have a great guy I work with, and he's got a family of quite a few people. And he always tells me, he's like, I want to go see Masters of the Universe for my birthday. I said, that's great, man. You should go. He goes, man, going to the movies for me isn't easy. You got to think, okay, let's say, I don't know how many, I think it may be 5 or 6. So that's 5 or 6 times $18 to $20 tickets. So right then and there, the tickets alone is over $100. What if the kids want popcorn? What if the kids want soda? What if the kids want a snack? What if they want the collector's cup? What if they want to see the screening of Toy Story 5 afterwards? All of a sudden, a trip to the movies that might be $20 for somebody like me who's fucking single becomes a fucking $1,000 night for a guy with a family that wants to just go out and enjoy himself for 2 hours. Like that's a lot of money for 2 hours of something that may or may not be good. So it sucks. The movie, it's too expensive. It's really, they have gone to the point of no return. It's that used to be the beauty of movies, was that the common man could go. They had in the city $2-3 theaters. You had even cheaper theaters, but they showed very cheap films. If you get my drift, very dirty films. But again, it was an option to go and be entertained for a very small price. And that to me is what the beauty of movies were. It was a good way for the common person that may not make six-figure salaries to go and enjoy themselves and have a night out with maybe a date or something. But now it's like it's such an arm and a leg that I can see why you'd hit the brakes, or why you'd hesitate, or why you might pump the brakes on that a little bit. I totally get it. I want to be responsible for organizing Micah Monroe's underwear drawer. Well, don't we all? Don't we all love Micah Monroe? I want to be the person she sacrifices for the It Follows. The It Follows curse. Like, I will gladly take that curse and just run for my life for a night with Micah Monroe. And that's definitely not Scream 7. No, it is not. Funny impression, Grande. You say that's Dusty Rhodes. I don't know who that is. You don't know who Dusty Rhodes is? What? Well, let me tell you something. Kubrick Love in 1972. You need to get to the pay window, if you will, baby. You got to drop the bionic elbow into 1, 2, 3, daddy. And it ends up with the same damn ending. Sure. He's a wrestler, Brian, old school wrestler. Hell yeah. Here's your crickets, Grande. Oh, okay, I got some crickets. Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3. That's it for me. Same here. I don't like your remake. I didn't like Evil Dead Fries in the high rise. No, I'm good. I am so good that I'm not seeing Evil Dead burn my fucking shit and step in it. Evil Dead sequels are just as bad as Scream / Halloween sequels. They're all, again, it's almost like they're all under the same umbrella. Again, I don't not appreciate what Evil Dead, the original Scream, the original Halloween, the original, or even some of the sequels. I love Halloween 2. I love Scream 3. I love Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness. Like, I'm not trying to say that all the sequels should just be forgotten, but like, again, those had their time. Let's move on. Let's try something else, even if it fails. The good fun Evil Dead ended with Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Sure. Again, Bruce Campbell. Like, to me, you can't do Evil Dead without him. It's just it's mono-y-mono. It's like peanut butter without the jelly. It's like peas without the carrots, Janae. It doesn't work the same. Support Shudder / ISC Films or Parish Sweater. Yeah, but like, okay, I know Pat is the biggest IFC Midnight film guy that I know. He's done video. He did a video recently putting over IFC Midnight films. That's his bread and butter. That's what Pat loves. And we love Pat for that. My hope is something like Dolly that came out this year. Give Dolly a fucking wide stream theatrical run. Granted, I don't think it would sell for a mainstream audience. I've not even seen the movie, so I can't even tell you. But again, why not give something like that a chance to gross more money? Why not? Why not? You did it for In a Violent Nature. Why not Dolly? Why not? At that fucking point, why not? It's something new. Who knows? You might just have another icon in your hands. You might not. It might suck. I've not seen the movie, so I can't say. But to me, the fact that the distribution is so low for a movie like that, after seeing movies that were made for even less sell so high, is absurdity to me. We're in hard times movie-wise, but I think we're in a transitioning point where indie movies are making comeback. I'm so happy you feel that way too, because I feel that way as well. Like, you asked me this question in 2024, I would have told you, bro, we're dead. We are dead in the water. This is just not ever going to change. And now I see light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm not usually Mr. Optimism. Trust me. If you know any of my thoughts on my sports teams, I'm not Mr. Optimism generally, or even my thoughts on horror films, really. But I'm optimistic because of what I'm seeing. Like, I think people are starting to see the bullshit. Did it take them too fucking long? Yeah, it did. Did it take them too long for my liking? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'd rather late than never, really. Only Two Sweet Peace. Oh, not yet. I'm still reading all your comments. We got tons of comments. Ultimately, it's up to us. If we keep feeding the beast, it will keep growing. Like you said, got to put our foot down, stop supporting garbage, force the creativity and creative freedom. Yeah, absolutely. And listen, that's easier said than done, right? I mean, I get, let's even bring into the common fan of this, right? Let's say there's the common horror fan that loves horror movies, that's going to see every horror movie that comes out just because they love it. And that's great if that's who you are. I'm that way, but I'm very much more selective, right? I'm not going to see an evil. I'll never watch another Final Destination movie again. I've had it. I'm done. I've seen it. It's been done. It's run its course. Let's move on. No, some people, they'll want to see it till it's literally, crashes and burns. But that's great if they do. But I'm with you, man. I hope that I really, really hope that this is it, and when people do put their foot down, moving forward, and we get more and more originality. I'm ready for football. Well, yeah, I'm ready for football too. My baseball team stinks. Let's see. Not ready to give up on my horror yet, but if I'm honest, my deep dive into horror is back in Backstroke, the oldies but goodies. For now, I'm still hopeful though. I am too. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess I would say. I think that's a good way. Grani, have you seen Transfiguration from 2017? I think you will like that one. It's similar to Martin. I have not seen that, but Trenchy, I always appreciate your recommendations. I will see that for sure. Awesome show and a great discussion. Thank you. I want to be optimistic, but I feel like the sequels will keep coming. Listen, you may very well be right. And this whole optimism, and this is a show of Grande's Graveyard that could age like milk. Like, you fast forward to a year and Evil Dead Burn made 300 million, and they're going to reboot Halloween again, and that Friday the 13th show becomes an Emmy winning show. Like, this is an episode of Grande's Graveyard that could age like fucking milk. So that's an unfortunate thing, but I'm not afraid to sit here and make a bold prediction and say I think I'm optimistic, even if it's cautiously so. It's progress from where I was even 2 years ago when I did the show in 2024 of the State of the Genre address. Like, I'm way more positive now than I was then, and that's only a 2-year gap, 2-year window. Like, I'm more so looking forward to what's next as opposed to dreading it, which for me is great, great, great progression. I'm keeping hope, as I said, but I just don't know, Grande, honestly. I don't either. We don't. That's the thing. We don't know. We don't know what the future holds. None of us has a fucking crystal ball, and if we did, maybe we could, but without it, it's kind of just fun to nerd out and speculate about it together. Maybe see the same old stuff, Grande. Okay, Kubrick is not optimistic about the future. Same old shit. We've been lucky with originality, but as long as free money is printed with sequels that take zero effort, we're stuck with them. Well, then let's all band together and let's hope Evil Dead Burn bombs. Let's do it. I hope another big franchise movie bombs. Like, let's see it happen. Supergirl bombed. Why can't Evil Dead Burn bomb? Concessions have become wickedly expensive. Yes, they have. Tickets are higher. And I'm single. It's one thing to be single, like you and I, but it's one other thing to have a whole fucking family to have to pay for. Like, that sucks. Hopefully somehow the studios will finally start to learn that there is no project that is a sure thing. Anything you find a risk, so you might as well leave it to the filmmakers to make what they want. Mark, the Hollywood would be a better place if Mark, aka tonight, just for tonight, Power and Glory Hole was in charge. Going to the movies is very fucking expensive. I'd love to go more with my wife, but it's just not feasible. It's not. It's not. It should be the easiest date night there is. Let's say two $10 tickets, a popcorn, a soda, maybe a nice little restaurant beforehand. Nothing crazy, like a little fancy Mexican place or something. Little Grexicana, something like that. Like, that's a great, like, easy $50 dinner, maybe $20 movie, add some popcorn, like less than $100 night overall for a date night. That's okay. But just the movie alone, you're talking probably over $50, 20 and 20 for the tickets, right? Let's say $40. And you're in Canada, so I don't know, probably even more for you. Then the soda, then the popcorn. Then, okay, we're leaving. Okay, we spent nearly $100 to see a movie. Like, are we really going to go spend another 50, 60 to 100 on dinner too? Like, I don't know. I basically transitioned to my apartment. Okay. Also, the sequels make money for a long time. Original movies were not. Sure, listen, yeah, there's always the chance to keep making, but I hope people are catching up to it. It would be nice to see. By the way, have you seen the new Dark Side of the Ring on TNA? I haven't, but it is on YouTube. I will watch it. I know it's a 3-parter on Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Grande, you got to order tickets, order the kids' meal at the movies. It even comes with the fruit snacks. Does it, Brienne? Brienne's in the house. Brienne 7680. Brienne, you go. There's a grown woman goes to the movie theater and is admitting to ordering the kids' meal at the movies. I will not lie to you. I've never done the AMC dine-in. Like, I know they have certain theaters where, I can order a burger and fries with my movie. That is fucking silly to me. But the option is there for you. I cannot imagine how much it costs. If popcorn and soda cost $20 each, or I guess that's a little over exaggerative, but it's like $12 and $10. So yeah, together it's over $20. If that's what a soda and a popcorn cost, Jesus Christ. What the hell would a burger and fries cost? What would a side of wings cost? What would that cost me? And they're gonna bring it to me too. Do I gotta tip the fucking usher that brings me my fucking shitty veggie burger? Like, do I have to? I don't know. Let me another Dusty. Let me tell you something. I got soda pop in one hand and popcorn in the other, and I want to be entertained for an hour and 90 minutes, baby. Kubrick, Google Dusty Rhodes. If you like wrestling, you will probably love him. Yeah, Dusty is a pretty lovable guy. Evil Dead Burn Ing pile of garbage. Yes, to Mateo, you listen. Yes. Do you think part of the problem is marketing is based more on IP and not cool ideas or actors and directors like they used to do? Yeah, sure it is. Marketing is definitely a problem with it, but like again, you look at something like Backrooms that was marketed really well. I think Backrooms was marketed so well because of it intrigued a lot of people. People were kind of like, "What the hell is this?" And opening night, man, there were certain theaters that just were jam packed, sold out. People were really looking forward to it. Now, it definitely was met with more divisive criticism. Some people thought it was. There had people earlier in the chat that left that thought it was fucking boring. Maybe they thought my show was boring. Maybe some people just thought it took too long to kind of get the hook. That's totally fine. But I think there's also some people that it really struck a nerve and they got what it was trying to say. And I thought it did it well. So that is what it is as well. But as far as, yeah, they totally do. Listen, look at what the theaters charge and sell at their concessions, right? It's not just one thing to buy the overpriced soda pop for $10, $11, $12. But wouldn't you want it in the Masters of the Universe Cup? Wouldn't you want it in the Supergirl Cup with a super cape and a super S? Wouldn't you want it with the Ghostface mask killer on the top of the fucking thing? Wouldn't you want your popcorn and not just any popcorn bucket, but in a Ghostface popcorn bucket or a Mortal Kombat popcorn bucket? Like, that'll be another $59, $65, sir. And that's what they're doing. Like they also are doing not even just the marketing, but the promotional items too is based upon the IP. Who the fuck was going to go buy a Backrooms popcorn bucket? I don't even think there was one. I don't think there was an Obsession popcorn bucket either until, all of a sudden, hey, One Wish Willow, here it is. There it miraculously is after the movie started doing well. It's interesting to me that you see so much more of that pushed into the promotion of their products that they want you to buy at the concession stand, as opposed to what they want you to sell with the fucking movies. It's ass backwards, but like that's what they're doing. I sort of feel everything is beginning to get exhausted with everything, every genre, although there are usually a few gems every year. Sure, agreed. The movie Z on Shudder, please watch it. CGI was bad at the end, but the creativity and horror was, all caps, pretty good. Z, another recommendation. I appreciate the recommendation, guys. Always. Thank you so much. People talking, which I like that because characters are important, but I feel like it's not marketing on actors' hurts of movies using Arnold, Stallone, et cetera, to bring people to movies they usually wouldn't see. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion of the movie star is dead now. There is no such thing as a movie star, as an action star. It's not. It used to be, let's go watch the JCVD movie. Let's go watch the Stallone, the Schwarzenegger, the Seagal, any action guy, Dolph Lundgren, any action guy that you want to mention. That was a big draw. It was their name above the title. And okay, what does the movie have in store? Their name got you in. There's not anybody like that nowadays. Who's selling the tickets? Tom Holland or Spider-Man? Let's be honest with ourselves. Did anybody go see Cherry for Tom Holland? No, you don't even know what the fuck Cherry is. You're going to go to Google right now, and you're going to Google Cherry, and you're going to go, what the fuck is this? Because nobody gives a shit. And it was directed by the guys that did the Avengers movies. You know why nobody cared? Because they're not Avengers movies. It's not a Spider-Man movie, and it's not a superhero movie. So it's not going to draw. Despite your director, your talent, and your fucking original idea, it's not going to draw because people don't give a shit. Those aren't the people that are going to buy stuff like that. Your whole movie star. Let's make Chris Pratt a movie star. We'll have him be Star-Lord. We'll have him be in the Jurassic Park movies. He's a young, fresh face. We'll have him be Garfield. We'll have him be Mario. We'll have him be everybody. Does he really sell tickets, or is it the fact of the matter that they kid themselves into thinking that he sells tickets? I have no problem with Chris Pratt. I think he's a good actor. He's not the guy drawing anything. You put Chris Pratt in a bullshit direct to Sci-Fi Channel type of film, no one's going to go see it for him. People are going to go see it if it looks like it's worth a shit. And that's the era we're in now. There's no such thing as a movie star anymore. It doesn't fucking exist. And if it does exist, it's not in the horror realm, and it's certainly not in the action realm. Maybe in the drama realm. That's the only place possibly left where it may exist. Grande will love a new Scream film movie if Freddie Peralta is a victim. Yes, if the opening kill is Freddie Peralta and his stupid face getting attacked by ghosts, I'll go buy your popcorn bucket. I'll wear a cloak. I'll wear the fucking mask. I will be there opening night. So just to see Freddie go bye-bye. Bye, Freddie. Brian, I'll send you some promos if you want. Okay, everyone's going to sell him on Dusty Rhodes now. Trench Grande constantly does the impression. That's my bread and butter, if you will. Kubrick, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Rafiki, Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, old school wrestling hits different. Hell yeah. Not my thing. Yeah, I'll hook you up, Brian. He does it a lot. It's very on point. Thank you so much. That's funny. Cool. Let me know what you think if you see it, if you could, please. Yeah, no, I'll email you, or you can even message you on Instagram. I know you're on Instagram now, so shout out to Trench. Grande, I've been lurking in here all night. Good show so far. Thank you so much. This has been a really, really fun episode of Grande's Graveyard. I appreciate you watching. My hand is touching your hand, and we're reaching out, and we're gonna come together, baby. Let me tell you something. We're gonna change the world, if you will. If I'm taking you to dinner and a movie as expensive as it is now, you got to put out. Well, you're damn right. You're damn right. You know what? It's too much. It's just too much money, dude. It's just too much. Meaning I watch movies in my apartment instead of going to the movie theater, Grande. Well, I think that's part of the problem. But again, I understand, because if it's expensive, that's a valid excuse. Or at least go half. At least go half. I'm with that. Haven't been to the movies in years, but I used to carry a big purse and stash it full of snacks. But hell yeah, we're going to the movies. Let's go, Miss C. Miss C's got some Swedish fish in there. Miss C's got some hard candies in there. Miss C's got some fucking some kettle corn in there. We're gonna be partying all night with Miss C's purse of goodies. I've had I think a burger at the Alamo Draft House movie theater. They serve you while you watch the movie. See, like, I would never do that. I love the movie theater. I would never eat a fucking burger that was served to me at the movie theater. It's just silly to me. But people do it, to be fair. Yeah, Miss C, if not, we would be drinking water and eating air. It's the truth. You'd be like biting your nails. You're so funny with the Dusty impression. It's like $10 just for the fucking popcorn. Yeah, so it is. It's think about that here. Like, for the large popcorn, it's like $12, which is fucking nuts. $10 for popcorn is diabolical. Yeah, it's popcorn. It's the most like non-filling snack. Like, give us a break. Hear you through. Canadian dollar, my friend. Yes, the Canadian dollar does unfortunately mean a little bit more here. I've seen some of those popcorn buckets look ridiculous. Yeah, no, they do. But if they sell, that's another $65 you're going to get. Oh, and we'll give you a free refill, Billy. Bunch of shit. Yeah, $65. I got to give you my hard-earned money. I got to mortgage my house. I got to put my fucking house on layaway just so I can get my popcorn in a Mortal Kombat fucking bowl. Like, you got to be kidding. But people do it. Speak with your wallets. Listen to Arthur. Listen to all of us. Dude, me and my friends were just talking about how popcorn buckets have become $400 collectibles. It's people scalp them. I'm sorry. If someone's watching this that scalps popcorn buckets, I'm sorry in advance, but I'm going to shit all over you. I can't help it. There are people that scalp popcorn buckets. Scalp them. They go to the movie theaters, they buy a ton of popcorn buckets and scalp them on fucking eBay and charge double for them. So for every one they buy, they're making the price of two. Wow. Aren't you fucking proud of yourself? You went to a fucking Regal, a fucking AMC, a fucking Cinemark to buy popcorn buckets in order to sell them on eBay because you're too lazy to go get a real job. Fuck you. I'm so sorry. Anybody that is scalping popcorn buckets, I apologize, but fuck you. Sort of think Spielberg doesn't have the cachet he used to have disclosure. Oh my God, buddy, that looked like the biggest piece of shit to me. I saw the CGI deer in the trailer. I was like, buddy, Steven Spielberg, you got to call it a fucking day. You got to apply to AARP. You got to drive down Sunset Boulevard, wave off with E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind and fucking Hook. And call it a fucking day, Stevie. Call it a day. Mr. Horror Lover, a.k.a. Don Nice. Don Nice in the house. Tom Cruise is the last star. Yeah, and That star is burning out fast, brother. He's like mid 60s, I think. It's getting there, and even the last Mission Impossible didn't make that much, it just didn't. Let's make Grande a movie star. Yeah, right. My pretty faith. I remember when they were just the movie on the side of the bucket, and they maybe, oh sure, scratching the yes, or the McDonald's promotion, right? Like, I can get this shitty toy if I go get a Happy Meal, or I could go shove this up my ass if I get the 10-piece nugget of chicken nuggets at Burger King. Like, what? That's fine. That's totally fine. It comes with the meal that you're getting anyway. But to charge $65 for somebody to go get a fucking popcorn bucket, that's just absurd. I don't care what. I don't care. There better be gold in there. There better be a pretty woman in there. I don't know. Pretty woman, that's all I. Come on, Grande. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is a movie star. What are you doing? Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right? What can I say except you're welcome? No, the Hollywood Rock thing, that was 23 years ago, and he's still a star. Maybe the Rock, the great one, is the star, and he's fast as a bull, strong as a bug. The greatest thing to hit Toronto because the Maple Leafs suck. Oh shit! Oh man, Hollywood Rock was the best Rock. That was a fun. Let me tell you something, you mother Canuckers. Oh man, the Rock was fun. That Hollywood Rock of 03 was the best Rock. Funny you say that. I was thinking earlier that who was the last true movie star. I think you have to go back to the 90s. That's crazy to think. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And yeah, no, listen, Don Knotts might be right on the money. It might be somebody like Tom Cruise. But even if it is, it's either endangered or next to or extinct. So sadly, yes. Better cast Dusty Rhodes in a movie, Grande. Oh, well, if Dusty Rhodes was still alive, yeah. I don't drive so hard to see movies, so I rely heavily on streaming. No problem. Yeah, I know you don't drive, so yeah, that's different. That's a different story. And it's good that they have the streaming option for someone who doesn't drive, so that's cool. Yo, J to the G, D to the A. Hey, everybody, wish Donovan Alba happy belated birthday. This guy and me, we're going to a concert next Friday night, so I'm very much looking forward to hanging out with Donovan. I could just make popcorn at home. Well, there it is. Everyone's problem is solved. Go get you some Orville Redenbacher and just make your popcorn at home and then bring it in Miss C's purse. Refill on large size that you won't finish before you leave the theater. Exactly. But we'll give you a freebie. Yeah, like you're giving me some fucking deal. Yeah, honestly, fuck you. Fuck the scalpers. Woo! To be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! Sorry if you mentioned Dusty. I got to throw some Flair in there too. Well, we could do Ric Flair impressions. I'm more partial to Dusty too, but we could always bring out the Ric Flair impressions too. Those are always fun. I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. I actually did the limousine riding thing at the beginning. Yeah, the scalping popcorn buckets is weird. It is. Bro, do you remember when people were scalping for Scream 7 buckets online before they were even available at the theaters? They were, and they were selling for hundreds of dollars. I have to, this is available for $210 or best offer. Fuck you, fuck your best offer, and go shove that popcorn bucket up your ass. You shine it up real nice, turn that some bitch sideways, and stick it straight up your candy ass. It's a different era with movies. It is. It totally is. Pitt and Cruise look pretty old. Well, they are pretty old. That's pretty much there. I would be fine with it if the old school picture of the movie on the side collecting popcorn buck is not my thing, but all the power to those people besides the scalpers. That's loser behavior. Completely agree. Grande, last question. Who makes the best horror? Italians, Asians, Americans, etc.? I must say for me, it's the Asians. That's a great question. And I don't know if you're going to be here next week, but next week it's J-Horror in July. We'll be talking all things Japanese horror movies. So I hope you're back for that, mentioning that you think people of Asian descent make the best horror films. I am huge on the three you mentioned. That's the top three for me. It's American horror, it's Asian horror, it's Italian horror. I just recently, I've been watching more Spanish horror. I think Spanish horror is tremendous. I've watched quite a bit of Hong Kong horror. They've come out with some really, really good stuff. Korean horror. They've come out with some fucking tremendous stuff. I haven't seen enough, but there's some really good Ireland horror out there. Like there's a ton, no matter where you look, there's really always some good to be had when it comes to it. As far as which country mastered the genre, though, that's a great question. I might have to say the Italians. Like some of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, you have my favorite giallo right there. Blood and Black Lace, I think, is the best giallo ever made. I think Suspiria is one of the 10 greatest horror movies ever made. Without Dario Argento's involvement, I don't know if Dawn of the Dead ever gets made. So I always have to thank the Italian tie that Dawn of the Dead had, and not to mention Dario's incredible filmography in and of itself. Guys like Bava and guys like Fulci and guys like Martino and so many others. I mean, so many great Italian filmmakers out there. But then again, I love Japanese. I love American too. I mean, I guess you could lean to the home country. You could say American, right? Because you think of the Mount Rushmore of horror directors. To me, it's Argento, it's Craven, it's Carpenter, and maybe Romero. Those probably be the Mount Rushmore. And you have one Italian, and then 3 Americans in there. So I don't know. That's a great question. I've never really thought of it. I guess gun to my head, I might lean towards the Italians, but Asians, American, Italian would be the top 3. In what order, I don't know. I've never sat down and done it, so I'll have to sleep on that. That's a great question, though. Thank you. There better be Dusty Rhodes Grande popcorn bucket. Oh, boy. Hollywood Rock fucking ruled his promo with the hurricane is gold. That's right. You're a star, Grande. Oh, no, I'm not. Go see The Rock get bitch slapped by Krampus while he tried to save steroid Santa with the help of Captain America. That's right. People saying happy birthday to Donovan. Let's see. Oh, wow. We still have a ton more comments. Let's see. People saying happy birthday. But, bro, Tom Cruise hasn't been in a true movie star in years. When was the last time he put out even 2 hit movies in a row? Think about it. To be the man, you got to beat off a man. Oh, God. My purse ain't going unless I'm going to. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, don't drive, Miss C. Oh, boy. We're going to pick up Miss C. Miss C's going to be co-pilot with her bag of goodies. That could work. Trench. Let's see. Vinegar Syndrome has had scalpers. Well, every there's always going to be scalpers. The popcorn bucket scalpers are a different breed. I'll be here. This was great. I'll bring my own popcorn. Don't you dare pay $45 for the popcorn bucket. I watched some great Spanish horror recently too from the Severn Box Exorcismo. Yes, and I reviewed one of the movies in there, Sobre Natural with Christina Galbo. I reviewed that a few graveyards ago. People ask questions. Newest Mission Impossible made $600 million. Yeah, so those movies still have an audience. It's just a matter of, it's kind of crazy. It's crazy where the movie star have gone. Some more talking, physical and streaming. We need to do a wrestling promo stream. Well, maybe one day down the road. But all right, guys, we're at exactly the 2-hour mark. This has been a lot of fun here tonight, talking all things about the modern state of horror movies in the year 2026 and what I think. And like I said, cautiously optimistic moving forward. I really hope there's light at the end of the tunnel instead of another Evil Dead / Paranormal Activity / Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. That's just me, though. So my fingers are crossed, my toes are crossed, my arms are crossed. We're just crossing everything we got. But a lot of fun discussion here tonight about the movies and what we love. So I do appreciate all of you for checking the show out here tonight. It was a really good time. So thank you all for stopping by. Grande's doing an all-nighter. No, I got work tomorrow. Otherwise I would. Grande, you're a wealth of knowledge. I'm so grateful I found your channel. Jeff, thank you so much. That's really nice of you to say that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. From one New Yorker to another. And hey, man, if you ever want to meet up for pizza on me. Pizza on me, dude. Great show, man. Stay frosty. Thank you so much. Peace. Have a good night, brother. Brother Arthur, man. Let me know when you start season 2 of The Zone. Always happy to hear your thoughts. Later, Captain Skittles was here from the beginning. Thank you so much. Great show, Grande. Thank you, Kubrick. People saying, Donovan, thanking everybody. Only. Have a good night, brother, and good night, everybody. Till next time. Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. Don't buy a lot of physical media on the Graveyard. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. We will catch you next time only on the Graveyard. Too sweet. Peace. Good night, everybody. Cheers.